Hi, I'm Andy Savage. Welcome to One Man and His Meeple. Tonight I'm going to be playing SpaceCorp, a game designed by John Butterfield and published by GMT Games. In this game, you play a corporation and you are attempting to spread out into space, colonize space. The ultimate goal is to colonize space. In the first era, you are playing on this board and you are trying to spread out into the inner solar system as far as Mars and the asteroid belt. In the second era, this is Mariner's era. In the second era, which is the Planeteers, you're spreading out into the outer solar system and you have to face radiation and things like that. And in the third era, which is the Starfarers era, you're spreading out into the local galaxy and you may have to face aliens. Distances are much further. Your competition in the solo game is basically the rest of the corporations, not including these cubes. Should be over here on my board. The rest of the corporations, which are represented by these cubes here, I have 2 cubes on Earth. And basically, we have a game deck, which is the Mariner's deck, and there's another deck here that your competition is playing with, and this tells us what to do on each turn for the competition. There are a couple of charts that I'll be consulting and extra rules and so on. But basically the idea is that you play these cards from your hand. This is my hand, or from your board here where you can upgrade your infrastructure and spread out to the various different points and explore and build bases which give you bonuses when you get there. So I think without too much ado, we're just going to jump in. The competition get the first action, and so let's just get started. Over here, there are what we call contracts, represented by these orange discs. And every time you move on to the contract, every time you fulfill a contract or the competition fulfills a contract, you get a certain amount of money, which is in trillions of credits. So it's 2 trillion. 3 trillion for this mission and so on. And at the end of the game, the idea is that the team with the most money, the most profit throughout the game has won. So, like I said, without too much more explanation, let's just jump straight in. So the competition's going first, and their actions are denoted by the little band at the bottom here, and this one is Lunar, which means we take a competition cube and we place it on Lunar, which means they've sent a team to the moon. Basically, they don't explore it yet until they get another card that says Lunar. So on my turn, I start with precisely 1 card and two teams, 2 spacecraft teams that I can send out, 2 exploration teams that I can send out. There's a certain amount of move points involved. Each of these diamonds indicates the amount of move points you need to spend to move between them. Every point you take off from has a gravity of 1, which costs you 1 move point, except for certain points like Earth has a gravity of 2, +2, and Mars has a gravity of +1. So to take off from Earth costs you 3 move points, and then 1 to land as well. So to get to lunar Lagrange point 5, it would cost 4 gravity, 3 to take off from Earth and 1 to land on the Lagrange point. So on my go, I've this single card which allows me a movement of 1. I have a movement of 1 on my tableau, and this is an upgradable card. So for my go, I can simply upgrade my infrastructure with a chemical drive, which means I have an inbuilt movement of 2 from now on. I also have inbuilt research. Research means I can draw 2 cards. I can draw from the offers here, or I can draw blind from the deck, or I can draw 1 from the deck and 1 from the offers. I think at the start of the game, certainly exploration is good, because every time you uncover one of these exploration points, you might get a bonus, normally profit, and then that allows you to build a base. So what I really need to do is to get up to at least 4 movements so I can move to one of these Lagrange points or to Luna itself. Anywhere in this first circle here is going to be 4 movement points. There are some basic start cards on the top of this deck which have the darkened mariner symbol in the bottom left, and they're all a little bit more basic, and after we get through the first 12 cards they start to get a bit more advanced. So I don't want to upgrade too much infrastructure with these low value cards, with these starter cards, but I do want to pick them up and use them. So I think I'll use my research to just pull 2 cards. I want to get 4 movement, so I'm just going to pull this one and this one off the offers board. And then we refill those offers. And then at the end of my go, because I have, that's my entire go, by the way, because that was a research action. At the end of my go, because I have 4 or fewer cards, I get to draw 1 from here anyway. So I now have 5 movement points, 1 there and 4 in my hand, available for next turn, or I can spend 1 to upgrade and still have 4 available. So a couple of options for next turn. Okay, so let's see what the competition are going to do. They're going to solar Lagrange point 4, means they're going to send a team out to there. Now I kind of like to, I don't know whether this is a good strategy or not, I kind of like to chase these teams and try and beat them to their objectives. So this sets me up to move to Luna because then I can get this exploration token before they do. So I'm going to spend 1, 2, actually I'm going to keep that one. No, 2, 3, 4 movement, 3 to take off from Earth, and 1 to land on Luna. So that's my entire action, that single move action, which I spent 1 point off of my infrastructure and 3 cards from my hand. 4 or fewer, so I draw another card from the deck. Now you can see next turn it's going to cost, this has an E1 on it, so it's going to cost me 1 exploration point to explore that, as long as the competition don't pull another Luna card out of here and explore before me. So let's see what they're doing. This is offers 1 and 3, and it has the Mariner symbol here, which means that they're going to pull cards 1 and 3 from the offers board, and if there is a move upgrade action, or an explore upgrade action, or a build upgrade action, that's these ones that say may upgrade as infra, they get 1 trillion profit. So they're taking 1 and 3. As we can see, 1 had an upgrade. So they get a trillion. They're off the mark and they're in the lead. We refill these offers every time. And now it's my go. So they didn't pull Luna, so they didn't explore. So now I'm going to explore. It's cost me my 1 explore, which means I pull this tile here. And it is exotic elements. I immediately get 1 trillion for that discovery. And it has a P1 here, which means once I've built a base there, anytime I produce with the produce action, which we don't have any of here, but there are some produce cards in here, that will get me an extra $1 trillion every time I produce. So now I have a claim on that discovery, which means if the opposition come along and build a base there now, I get some compensation. I think it's 2 trillion. I'd have to, I think it's 2 trillion, but I will check that if that happens. So that was my go. I explored the moon and found some exotic elements, which got me $1 trillion. There we go. They're going to Luna Lagrange point 4. These cubes, the competition cubes, I can use them all interchangeably, but the yellow ones are easier to spot on the board. So I'm going to use them for now. Certainly the purple ones seem to get a little bit lost, but I'll use yellow as preference, then green, then purple as the last resort. But certainly in the later eras of the game, we'll be using all of the cubes. So they went out there, Lunar Lagrange point 4. Right, I go. I have 2 movement available. What I'd really like to do is build here. You can see there's a B2 on the moon. That means it's going to cost me 2 build points to build one of my bases there. Those teams should be there. So I'm going to need some build cards. I can research and pick these 2 up, which is probably what I'm going to do. Then we refill the offers board, and then I draw because I have 4 or fewer cards. So now I have enough build power to build on Lunar next turn. Competition has pulled a solar Lagrange point 5, so they're spreading out to all these Lagrange points. What I'm looking at here is this little label at the bottom. Should be able to see if you're looking at in 1080p, hopefully. The rest of the card is this is the Planeteers deck, so I'll be using this deck in the second era, and I'll be using these Move and Explores and so forth in the Planeteers era, but for the moment we're just using this tiny little banner at the bottom for the competition actions. So they moved out there, Solar Lagrange point 5, and I'm going to spend my 2 build cards to build a base here on Lunar. The bases I have available are refineries, attractions, spaceports, secure, industrial, research, shield factories. I can't use, or there's absolutely no point me using them in this era. They shield you from radiation, which we don't get until we get out beyond the asteroid belt there. So this card tells me what I can build and what benefits I get. So for instance, an attraction, you can only build it in this era if it has like a geological feature, like a volcano icon, or is an alien artifact, which this isn't. This is just some random exotic elements. So there's no life, so I can't build a biolab. It has a p-value, so I can I can't use exploiter in this era. So I'm just going to remove that now from there. And there's some others I can't use. Yep, secure I can't use, and shield factory. So they shouldn't be on the cards. So I could build an industrial site there because it has a p-value. To build an industrial base, it needs to have water there or a p-value, which would allow me to double my build value elsewhere in this region. But the trouble is there are these Lagrange points which I can go out to build, and the best thing to build there is spaceports. But they're only build 1 anyway. They only cost 1 build point to build. So it's not a great use of anything to build an industrial point there. The refinery is not a bad idea. It means this P1 it gets a +1, becomes a P2. So if I produce in the future, I'll get 2 trillion. Research station allows me to take 1 card from the offers. There's nothing amazing there yet. What I really probably save the research stations for are some genetics. There's 2 genetics cards in this deck, and that will allow me to start to work through around this progress wheel to adapt to space. If my genetics goes all the way around this wheel, my genetics cube, which is the brown one, then I can pick an adaptation in the Planeteers era. So I'll probably save the research stations till some genetics cards come out here. Secure and shield factory I can't build, and spaceport I can't build because it's not a Lagrange point. So I'm going to go for a refinery. So I'm building a refinery on the moon, refining those exotic elements, which means if I produce on the moon with a produce card, I'll get 2 trillion for that. So that's what we're doing there. Bit long-winded, but just went through the actions. I've got 2 cards, so I'm just going to draw another one. Now, It seems good to draw cards, but the game ends when this deck is depleted, or this deck is depleted, or 6 of these contracts have been filled. What normally happens is this deck is depleted because the competition keeps pulling the offers cards out, which strips out 1, 2, or 4 of these cards. And then you fill them back up. So this deck goes down pretty quickly, and this era doesn't last too long. What I really want to do, my main objectives for this era are to build a nice base, because I get to keep one of them through to the next round on my card here, and pick up the first beyond icon, the first beyond token by going to the asteroid belt. Because if I send a team to the asteroid belt, they no longer act in the game, so that's the last thing that team will do. But you do get significant benefits going into the second era if you can get out there. If the competition get out there, then they get significant benefits. They get 3 turns at the start of the game before you even do anything. So there's a priority for me to get out there and to build a couple of nice bases, get some profit going, and to get some of these missions. The contracts here. First produce action gets 2 trillion, 3 Lagrange bases, 3 non-Lagrange bases, so we're all 1 on the way there. First base on Mars. Your genetics cube has advanced 2 spaces, so that's this brown one we were talking about, as well as putting me 2/3 on the way to getting an adaptation in the next round. It also gets me 2 trillion. Cards in 3 infra slots, so that's 3 upgrades in here. All bases in 4 regions. A region is one of these sections bounded by white lines. So what are we going to do? We've got some moves here. I would like to get out to one of these Lagrange points. Probably, I think that cube should go home when I build my base. That competition cube gets sent home. Probably like to get out to a lunar Lagrange point 4 first, I think, and I'm going to try and race them to this one. So that, again, that's going to cost me 4 movement. I've got 1 on here. Look, here's a better one, though. This allows me to upgrade onto my infrastructure and move 3, which means I no longer have to play that card from my hand, deplete my hand to get that move. All these cards can be played from your hand, or, well, the upgrade cards can be played from your hand as one-offs, or you can use them. Now this one also is good because it has a move 2 or explore. It might not be as good as that move, but I think what I'm going to do is use this turn to put this move onto there, the reusable solid nuclear drive, and maybe next turn put the solid nuclear drive onto that slot there, or that slot there, and then we can get a nice, maybe a build or an explore upgrade onto there. I don't tend to pick up research upgrades because they don't get much better than research 2 until later in the game, and picking up 2 cards is normally pretty good. A lot of these cards are quite similar, so there's none that are really overpowered worth steaming through the deck for, certainly, because you want this era to last a bit. So anyway, that was my turn. Upgraded the reusable solid nuclear drive. Competition are going to, oh, hang on, 2 cards, so I draw another one. I've got a build module, which is a build that can get upgraded as infrastructure. Maybe that'll be our next upgrade. So 1 discovery and contract 6. So what this means is that the competition will discover anywhere where they have a cube, they will place a discovery tile, I believe. Now they don't have any cubes on areas that allow a discovery tile. That's these E1s and E2s. But they do contract 6. What that means is they take a cube, and I'm going to use a purple one and put it there. If they get a second cube on contract 6, then that counts as them fulfilling it. Obviously, they don't collect cards in infra slots, so they can't get that one. They can get these other ones just by So if they get 3 Lagrange bases, they will get that contract. I'm just going to check about what happens with the one discovery if they don't have bases. Yeah, so because they don't have any tokens on explorable sites, they don't have any teams in explorable sites, they don't get to place a discovery token, but they do get their cube there on contract 6. So my go. So we have 4 move here without even doing the upgrade, and I'm gonna I think I'm gonna race out, try and get this Lagrange point 4 out from under them, because I think the trouble is if I don't challenge them, they're just going to fill up the board with cubes and then start getting these stations, these bases built. So I'm going to go out to there, which is going to cost the 4 move that I have here. I don't have to play any cards, but I do get to draw 1. Competition action, solar Lagrange point 5 or solar Lagrange point 4. So they go for this one first. So effectively, they're sending another cube out there. And I think that means they build a base. Site action. The competition team is already present. Remove the team and place a competition base. So what we do is we pull a tile from here, which is their equivalent of these, and we place it there. And then we look on this table that says, so they've tried to place an attraction at a Lagrange point. If the match requirement, so if what it's saying is if the randomly pulled base matches the right kind of location, then they get a benefit. Now, an attraction, the discovery tile would have to have a volcano, an alien artifact, an outpost or ruin, or an anomaly. But it's none of those. It's just a Lagrange point. So they get nothing for placing that attraction. But they have locked down that point. Now I can no longer build a base there. The benefit of building, certainly building spaceports at Lagrange points, is you can use them to kick off. You get extra movement bonuses for further exploration. So that was their go. It's my go now. I'm going to take the opportunity to build over here on this lunar Lagrange point. And I'm going to spend the heavy lifter because it's not an upgrade. It's not an infrastructure upgrade. So I'm going to spend the heavy lifter and build. Oh, no. Yes, I am. I'm going to spend the heavy lifter. It's a bit overpowered, and I'm going to build a spaceport there. So that team gets sent home. My team is there. And I draw a card. So here's one of the genetics cards I've been talking about. It's a research 2, which is a draw action, or genetics. So if I get to spend that, then I'll move that brown cube round. The trouble is some of the competition actions will strip cards from my hands, specifically research cards. So this genetics action will go with it. Let's see if that happens. Nope, they're exploring South Mars. So they've jumped straight up there into South Mars. Don't forget that the first base on Mars is a $3 trillion contract, so worth chasing. It's going to take me a bit to get out there. I'm going to need, effectively, this tells me here, 9 movement to get there. I get 2 from starting there. It's a bit less because I'm on a Lagrange point. So 1 to take off, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 7 to land. But I get 2 extras for starting off from a spaceport in a Lagrange point. So I'd only need 5 move. And I have 4 on my tableau, so I could chase them out there straight away by spending the chemical drive. Then I'm going to need 2 explore points, which I don't have 1 explore point. And then 6 build points, which is quite heavy. to try and beat them. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend this genetics card right now before they get a chance to strip it out my hand. Which means we're halfway on our way to one of these contracts. And we get to draw a card, hopefully. Right, here's an edge card. Now, if I get them, I can play them, and at the end of the turn, take all the cards that the opponents. At the end of the opponent's turn, take all the cards that they discarded into my hand. But in the solo game, these have a slightly different meaning. I can draw the top 2 non-edge cards of the discard pile. When do I have to play it? I have to play at the end of a competition offers action. So after the competition have stripped some cards out of here, I can play this edge card to draw them back into my hand, which means I can't draw this genetics card back. If when the competition is replenishing cards after an offers action and they pull the edge cards, it's normally a detrimental effect for me. So I'm quite pleased to draw this. If they'd have drawn that, it would have meant I'd had to choose and discard half the cards in my hand. So I'm pleased to get that one. That was my go. They're going out to Sisyphus or Halley's Comet. Sisyphus is this asteroid out here, which has an exploration point, as does South Mars, of course. Back to me. I can't play that edge yet. I think I'm going to play this move and explore action as an upgrade. That gives me a lot of move now, and it gives me an explore when I get there. And I get to draw a card. More move infrastructure. Offers 1, 3, and 4, and there's a little explore icon there as well, which means every exploration card that they strip out of 1, 3, and 4 gets them $1 trillion. So they're stripping out 1, 3, and 4 and getting 2 trillion. Now we replenish these. There's the other genetics card. And I can use my edge card, I could draw the top 2 of these back into my hand. Now I'm quite like this one because it's a fairly hefty build action. But there's one up here, and if I want this genetics card, I'm going to be playing a research anyway. So I think I'm going to save my my edge card. What's the other? It's got an explore 2 on it. No, I'm going to take it right now. So I'm going to take those cards into my hand. So now we have more than 4 cards, and it's my go. I'm going to play the research action. I have to have fewer than 7 cards in order to do that. I have 5, so I'm fine there. I'm going to take the genome accelerator and this heavy lifter for the build. We refill those. Here's a nice, I can't remember what it's called, sort of looks global action. If I've got that and I play it, I'm able to place a discovery tile on any empty site and immediately gain the rewards without even sending a team there. So that'd be quite good. They're stripping out offers 1, 2, and 3 and getting money based on research actions. There's no research here, so 1, 2, and 3 have gone. Now I'm wishing I'd saved my edge and I could have pulled that card. Now they've got an edge. This is the intercept action, which means the competition takes another turn straight away. So that's discarded. So the competition's immediately getting another turn, and they're going to South Mars. So they've got another team on South Mars now. So let's quickly consult the table. Competition team is present, and there is a site with an empty explore box. So draw and place a discovery tile, so an E2 discovery tile, immediately awarding the profit to the competition, so that's 2 trillion. Then remove the team and place a competition base. So we pull from the mug an attraction. So that's another non-match because there's no attraction there. There's no volcanoes, there's no alien artifacts, ruins, or anomalies, so they get nothing for that. So now there's no point racing them to South Mars. Maybe I should go to North Mars, which is the other high and the other high value site. It's another E2 space. There are only 3 E2 tiles. If I recall correctly, it's because one of the E1 tiles tells you to discard that and take an upgrade to an E2 tile. I'm going to play, however, I'm going to play this genetics cube, genetics card from my hand before it gets stripped by an edge event, which means my genetics cube has advanced 2 spaces, so I now have that contract filled. Competition got first base on Mars, so they get 3. 1, 2, 3. I don't think anything else has been filled yet. Cards in 3 infra slots, so I can pull that one. If I do another upgrade, I can get that cards in 3 infra slots. So what would be a good upgrade? We've got a big move and just a low build action. Let's stick that one in for now, just to get that. Nope. We let the competition have a go? Because I just did the genetics, didn't I? So competitions go. 1 discovery and contract 1. Now again, oh no, that means they discover whatever is on Sisyphus. They discover abundant ores on Sisyphus. I don't think they place a base there. I think that's just sat there. That's their claim. So if I go there and build a base, then they get profit for that, and they get a cube on contract 1. So they've started to nip into that first production action. So maybe I should take a produce action as well. Except I have no produce cards. There's one. Now is there... Should I maybe research? I have only 6 cards. So if I research, I can pull that produce action card and I can produce this pretty decent dual infrastructure card. And then as long as nothing bad happens on my next go, I can pick up the 3 infra slots card or the first production action. A bit more profit. So let's do that. We're going to research. I'm going to take the core driller and the survey module. Fill these back up. This is my edge actions, not the competition, so that's okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I now have 8 cards, so I can't research next turn till I've played. And as you can see, this deck's getting a bit thin now, and I'm looking behind on profit. And I still want to get out here to the asteroid belt. Let's see where we're going. Offers 1 and 4. And we're gonna, any upgrade cards, they're gonna get money. So they're both upgrade cards, so they're up to 10. Luckily no edge actions there for me or against me. Let's play this into that slot as the upgrade action. So we then take this. I have 3 cards in 3 infra slots. I have that, so that's 2 trillion for me. Competition. Lunar Lagrange point 5. So they're going out to here now. I think I'm probably going to let them have that because I really ought to be shooting for Mars and the asteroid belt. I can't remember if I need a base in this region before I can go to the asteroid belt. I'll have to check that in a minute. First, I'm more concerned I'm going to produce one. So it means I'll produce just here my exotic elements on the moon for one. No, I've got a refinery. Does that get me? The refinery means I get 2 trillion for that produce. 1, 2. And I get the first produce action. So another 2 for that. So what you can see, what I'm trying to do is the competition places these cubes with ease. They don't have to move cards, they can jump straight out to South Mars. And what I like to try and do is keep on top of that by stealing the contracts, stealing the bases out from underneath them, if I can. In cases like this, I have to weigh up whether it's worth trying to build a base there to stop them building a base because they'll get 2 trillion profit. So no, there is no requirement to have a base in this region to move into the asteroid belt. I'm saying that because in later eras, in the last era, in Starfarers, you have to have a colony in an adjacent area before you can jump into the similar sort of area, but not on this level. So not in this era, I can just go straight out there. So that would cost me, according to this chart, 10 move from Earth. From this Lagrange point, it's going to cost significant. Well, it's going to cost 1 to leave there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I get 2 for starting there. So it would only cost me 5 move. So I could do that. I can send this team straight out there. It's maybe a little bit early. Maybe I should shoot that team for Mars instead in the first place. We go for that North Mars site. Have I forgotten what I was going to do? No, I've gone for those contracts. That's cool. So instead of going straight to the asteroid belt, we're going to try and go for North Mars, which must be 2 fewer, so 5 for 3, but 1 more, gravity plus 1, so 2, so the same to get to North Mars, 5. 1 to leave there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus the 2 I get for starting a spaceport on Lunar Lagrange point 5. So that will be a move of 5, which I have right here. So I'm sending this team out to North Mars. Not spending any cards from my hand, that's my go. They've pulled South Mars where they already have a base. I'm just going to check. I think that means the card is they discard. If the competition has a column, no, that's the wrong one. So yes, South Mars on this card. They've already got a base on South Mars, so we just draw another card for them. That's Lunar Lagrange point 4, which I've already got a base at, or 5, where they haven't. So they're going to build a base out here. And it is a research station. I'm fairly sure that's not a good match for them. What did I say? Research. No match requirements. If I have more profit than the competition, they gain 1 trillion. Well, by 1 trillion, I don't have more competition, so they get nothing for that research station. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm able to do a research action now. Do I want to pick up these 2 edge cards? Let's just see what they give me. A hack. Play when a competition card is revealed. Discard this card without effect and draw another. So I can nullify one of their research actions. And the other one is sabotage. Play at the end of your turn, end of my turn. Remove a competition team from a site or contract. That might be useful, except I've already booted them off the contracts. And now I'm shooting up for North Mars and the asteroid belt. I don't really care about this team here. I'm just going to leave these 2 to go, I think. I'm not that bothered. I'd rather just get on with exploring Mars. So I need Explore 2, which I've got here in my infrastructure. So I don't need to spend any cards for that. So I get to draw this tile. It's just water. We've discovered water on North Mars. I get 1 trillion. The discovery, and I can build a base here for 1 fewer build points. It's got base -1, which means it would cost 5 because that's a 6-point build. 3, 4. I have enough build in hand, so I could do that next turn. They get a lunar card, lunar, which is no good. I think if you're the competition, yeah, it's the same for me. They get a redraw. Offers 3 and 4 with we're looking at upgrades. So 3 is removed and 4 is removed. The edge, I think the edge is only trigger when you're replenishing, so that unless it says edge down here. There we go. I'm just going to count these cards without looking. Obviously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 11 cards left in that deck now. So have we got time to build the base and then move into the asteroid belt, or maybe even explore Deimos or Phobos? Well, let's see how it goes. Right, so I have 1 build. I need 4 more to build on that North Mars base. Just looking to see because if I build on North Mars and I manage to get to Deimos or Phobos and build as well, then that's another contract there. Although if I can get 1, 2, 3, I'm probably not going to get bases in 4 regions before this deck runs out. Let's go for the build on North Mars. So 1, 3, 5. And what are we going to build out there in North Mars? We could build a research station, which will allow us to take one of these cards. I'm not that excited about any of those. We can build an industrial, which will make builds cheaper elsewhere. So I think let's build an industrial plant out there. I'm just thinking if we built a spaceport, no, because the requirement is it's a Lagrange point, which it's not. Okay. So we built a base. We have 3 bases, but only 2 of them are non-Lagrange, so we don't get that. We now have 4 cards in hand, so we get a draw. And the competition get Deimos, so they're moving a team out to Deimos. Now, should we take the risk and go for Deimos, or shall we play it safe and go for Phobos? It's exactly the same. It's an E1. So a 1-point exploration or a 5-point build. It's actually can double our total build value when performing a build action elsewhere in this region. So I'm actually only going to need 3-point build to build on Phobos or Deimos. What have we got? What do we need to move there? We've got 2-point gravity, two moves to get off of Mars and 1 to get into Deimos. So I'll need 3 move, which we've got here. And we've got enough for the build and we've got enough for the explore. So I reckon let's risk it and go for Deimos. So 3 move, 2 to get off 2 to get off Mars and 1 to get land on Deimos. 3 move, and that's my go finished. Offers 3 and 4 pulled, and we're looking at upgrades, and there aren't any there. I believe we're down to about 8 cards in our deck now. So I'm going to do the Explore on Demos, or the E1 tile. More exotic elements gets me 1 trillion. And that's my claim. Competition, move that. Offers 2 and 3, so and looking again for upgrade cards, of which there aren't any. 6 cards remaining. So let's go for the build. We only need 3 points of build, so there's 1 and 2, 3. Because the industrial site here doubles my build action. What are we going to build there? It's not really that important at this point. We can't exploit it because that doesn't come until the next round. Research and pull one of these. If we play a research station, we can pull one of these cards. That's just going to speed the end up. So I think I'm just going to put another industrial out there, or a refinery. Let's put a refinery out there. Doesn't really make much difference. I've got 4 cards anyway, so we draw 5th, and they are doing North Mars, which we redraw because I've got the base on North Mars. Offers 2 and 4. That's an upgrade. That one isn't, so they get 1 trillion for that. Neck and neck. Refill the offers. When this deck's depleted, I get 1 extra go without the competition getting a go in between. Right, so am I going to move to Phobos and try and explore and build a base there? Actually, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got the 3 non-Lagrange bases, so I'm just going to use that. I'm just up to 2 trillion now. It's going to take 3 turns now to get to Phobos, explore and build, and then a 4th turn to move to the asteroid belt. And I'm going to have to draw every turn. No, possibly not, because I've got the move here. Well, let's see. Let's try and edge this out then. So 1 move to take off from Deimos, 1 move to land on Phobos. So that's the 2 move there in my infrastructure. Turn over. I've got 5 cards, so I don't draw. Extruders offers 1, 3, and 4, and that 1. And we're looking for build cards. So 3 and 4, they get 2 trillion. Bringing us back to the same score. Oh, they've got an edge. They've got a salvage card. What does a salvage edge card do? Competition gains 1 trillion, then discards all start cards from the offers. There aren't going to be any start cards there. Replenish empty offers. So that goes, they gain 1 trillion. Put them in front at the end of the era, and then we replenish again. And the deck is depleted, so I get 1 final turn. And I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 movement points to go off into the asteroid belt there. I need to check under what circumstances the competition go out there. Just check I haven't cheated that. Okay, so the circumstances under which the competition take the first beyond token is if they build a spaceport and already have If the competition has at least one other base and they build a spaceport, then they take the first beyond marker if it's still available. Well, they didn't build a single spaceport, so I didn't miss that. So I get the first beyond marker. That is now the end of the era. There's a few steps to take at the end of the era, which I want to do on camera. So 6 or more, no. So we finished the era because the draw pile was emptied. So the competition gains X trillion dollars, where X is equal to the competition's base and discovery pair with the highest current production value. So that must be this one, which is P1. So they get 1 trillion for that. And I can choose one of these tile pairs, discovery tile that has a P value and one of my bases, and remove it down here to carry on. It's something I can use in the next turn. These are both identical, so I'm going to take that one. I have the first beyond marker there, and then these infrastructure cards remain into the next era, and everything else is removed. From the board, and then we flip it over and set up ready for the next era. So that's what I'm going to do now. So in a second, this will all have changed. Okay, so here we are at the start of era 2, Planeteers. It says there, Planeteers, and this covers the years 2070 to 2149. Can't remember what the other. I guess it was 2025 to 2070 was the Mariners era. So in this era, we have the concept of adaptations and breakthroughs added. Adaptations are cards that are gained when your genetics cube does a complete revolution of the progress wheel, and breakthroughs are when your breakthrough cube does a complete revolution of your progress wheel, and they give you certain benefits normally. So low body mass in high gives you a free 5 movement. Energy efficiency gives you free build. Sensory focus allows you to when you do an E3 discovery or a primary discovery in the Starfarers era, you can take 2 tiles, pick the one you like best, and put one back. The one I really want to go for here, which is radiation resistant. Your move and build actions are shielded from radiation. There's a concept in this era and again in Starfarers that once you're out beyond the asteroid belt into the outer solar system, then you're affected by radiation, and any move or build action you carry out beyond this arc here requires radiation shielding, which means either the action starts or is in a region with a shield factory, or it has like this has a shielded move of 2 here. So stuff like that. Once you can get this adaptation, then you don't have to worry about that anymore. All your move and build actions are shielded from radiation. So I really want to try and grab that one. But that one has a prerequisite of another adaptation. So we're going to have to go for one of these other ones first. As you recall, we got 2/3 of the way around here on with the genetics cube. So we're not doing too badly there. The breakthroughs are your research actions gain a 1 with quantum mechanics, probe network. You get a multiplier of 2 on explore, and the energy fields. All your bases are considered secure bases. Secure bases are added in this era, and there are certain ways of scoring money, scoring profit off of your competition by having secure bases or not. These aren't used. These are for the Starfarers. This is for Starfarers era. This is for Starfarers era. So it's just these 7 cards we're concerned with here, or 7 sets of cards. This one does not in play in the solo mode. Each of these, there's 2 of each, and you can only gain 1 of each type. But the first one has a monetary bonus. 1 trillion for an adaptation, 2 trillion for a breakthrough, and the competition will pull them by getting them from their competition, from the competition deck. Now they're running through the Starfarers deck now using the banner at the bottom, and we're in the Planeteers deck, which is the deck that they used, the competition used in the last round. So I've got, normally you'd start with 2 teams on the inner solar system. Now because I had the first beyond marker, which now goes out there to the Oort cloud, because I had that, I can put 1 team on Ceres or Keres or however you want to pronounce it, and take an E1 tile. So I did that during setup, and I pulled the E1 tile that says discard this tile and draw an E2 tile. So I thought I'd do that on camera, in case someone started saying, why have you got an E2 tile there? Someone who knows the tiles very well. So we have the offers taken from the Planeteers deck, and I have a hand of 2 cards taken from the Planeteers deck. And once I've done this discovery tile, the competition will be going first. They'll only get 1 turn because I got the first beyond marker. Similarly, out here in the Oort cloud, again, the first team out there gets the first beyond marker, and that gives you benefits that carry over into the 3rd era, the Starfarers era. So it's, again, I think that's worth getting that, mainly for the point that the competition don't get 3 actions in a row at the start. So as you can see on this, we've got some asteroids, some of the larger asteroids, and then we've got Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the various moons. Again, you've got the transitions. You've got the one move to take off from somewhere, unless it says extra for gravity. I'm not sure anyway it does on this one. Oh yeah, Callisto, Ganymede. Have extra gravity. Titan also. So then you get, once you get out to Saturn's moon, there's a transit edition. If you want to go from Saturn's moons to Uranus moons or Neptune's moons and so on, Triton, Pluton, Charon, you get a +6. It's like, it's shifting orbits, going from, say, going from Dione out through the Oort cloud requires no orbital transitions, but to go from Dione to Titania, for example, will require an orbital transition. Maybe Uranus and Saturn are on opposite sides of the Sun, so it takes 6 extra moves to get from there to there. I have to try and watch that because easy to forget that. Likewise, there are penalties. Well, not penalty, extra move to go from Uranus's moons to Triton, Pluto, or Charon, and so on. Okay, so they're all detailed there. There's some tables here that give you some distance from the inner solar system and then distance between the outer regions. We're on the contracts down here, the Planeteers contracts. 2 progress cards. Progress cards are these, adaptations and breakthroughs. 3 asteroid bases. So that's 3 bases in the asteroids here. 3 bases in regions beyond Jupiter. So that's these far ones here from Saturn onwards. 2 bases beyond Uranus, which doesn't give you much chance at all. 3 bases in one region. That's not too hard with the amount of Saturn's moons, Jupiter's moons that are on the play. And non-start Planeteer cards in 3 infra slots. So that's upgrading these with Planeteers cards that aren't start cards. They don't have the start. Have start there, or a dark grey icon here. So 3 upgrades there. All bases on 4 sites containing water or life. if most of the contracts from the first round were grabbed, if, for example, you get this contract and you move that token there, you get the monetary bonus from the Mariners contract as well. So you'd get 5 trillion for that. We're starting this round starting this era slightly behind by 2 trillion, which isn't amazing, but it's probably the worst position I've ever been in coming into this era, which is slightly concerning. Anyway, so I think that's everything set up on this board. The offers action, they lose $1 trillion if a genetics card is discarded, and they gain $1 trillion if a revelations are the cards that drive the black cube and get you the breakthroughs. Let's see what they're going for. Hygeia. I'm going to apologize in advance for my pronunciation of some of these sites. I'm sure they're causing cringes everywhere. So Hygeia, 1 cube out there. I could have looked them all up beforehand, but then I would forget them all, and I'm not going to look them up as I play because it will take ages. My go. So these are the 2 cards in my hand. We've got some moves, more moves, move upgrades. I don't particularly want to upgrade until we get past the start cards, because then I'm going to have to upgrade again in order to try and get this contract, 3 non-start Planeteer cards. So where are we going to go? Can we go out and steal Hygeia straight from underneath them? It's pretty low build and explore costs. Or we can hit Vesta. Anyway, it's only going to cost us 1, 2, 3 to get out there. Near asteroids confirmed, 3 points there. So we've got this one on. We didn't do the special discovery on Keres series, whatever. So discard this tile and draw an E2 tile. We've got 2 piles of E2 tiles. So we get abundant water. So we get 2 trillion, which immediately puts us on equal footing. And a base here costs 2 fewer builds. So I can build a base there for 1. So I could build that base straight off. And with the water, that will allow us to build. We can build an exploiter now because the exploiter token has come in. Shield Factory, as we spoke, shields you from radiation out here, and a secure site is you gain 1 trillion for each base in this region belonging to an opponent, and it's forfeit if the opponent already has a secure base in the region. So building a secure site will get you money if the opponents have sites already there. The exploiter, which has come in this era, only get 1 of those bases. You can immediately reap the production bonus, but then it can no longer produce throughout the rest of the game. This tile doesn't have production bonus, so I can't build an exploiter there. I could build the industrial site, which would give me a build bonus. There's not much point. I could build a research station and grab 1 of these cards, but none of those are that amazing either. I might build a shield factory there, because there is, discovery tile has water. So I'm going to build a shield factory there, and what that will allow me is to move out from this base. I can make move actions, but I don't have to have a special shielded move card in order to do that. And of course, the sooner I can get the radiation resistant card, the better. If you need to take an action out here and you don't have the required shielding, I think it costs you $2 trillion to do so. Check that in a second if it comes up, which it may do. Anyway, so I didn't use a card from my hand. I used the build from there, which was build 3 minus 2 is 1. So I get to draw a card. Grown mesh, so it's a nice build infrastructure with a shielded action. So we might move that in. Competition is moving out to Palace. So there. I think I'm going to follow them. I'm going to try and get a few bases on these inner asteroids. I'm going to move our cube from the inner solar system. I'm going to move on to Hygeia, which is going to be a 3-point move action. And that's that. I get to draw. I've pulled a science booster, which is just a big move, same as that one. Big move or an explore. And they have series or Keres series. Let's stick with series for now. They draw another one because I got a base there. Offers 3 and 4, and we're looking for genetics or revelation cards, of which there are none. So off the discard pile there. No edge cards to penalise me, so that's good. Still on the start cards. How many have we done then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there's 12. So we've got 2 more start cards on top of there. Excuse me, and then we're into the good ones. I'm going to explore Hygeia using this infrastructure here and pull an E1 tile. It's exotic elements, which gives me 1 trillion. And I claim that site. If they build there, I think I get 2 trillion. Competitions, pulling out offers 2 and 3. Again, looking for genetics and revelations, and there aren't any there. So that's the last, we think, of the Planeteers start cards. So now here, if I do a research action, I'm going to start pulling the more powerful cards. But for now, I want to build in Hygeia for 3. So there's 1, and we're going to spend this 2 for a 3-point build. We have a production value there, so maybe we should build a refinery. We've got a few refineries. We've got 3 more. We've got 1 there already. And that cube gets sent home. So 1 more asteroid base and I get 5 trillion for that. So that's something quick to aim for. I've got a lot of move cards here though, and not a lot of build. So we're going to need to maybe do a research action to pull one of these build cards and one of the nicer cards off the top there. Offers 1 and 4 going. Offers 1 and 4, so there goes that build card. Right. There's an edge card, Hack. What does Hack do? When the competition pulls it, discard all research cards from your hand and offer boxes. Replenish empty offers. Well, I have no research cards in my hand, and this one would go anyway because it is the edge card, and we replenish. I don't think we then lose that one. I'm going to do a research action because I want a clone forge for the genetics cube, which if I manage to play it will get me my first adaptation because this genetics cube will go all the way around. Additionally, I think we're going to pull one off the top of here. So let's take this one first, see what we get. That's quite nice. It's got a revelation cube as well, which is going to get us on the way towards a breakthrough. So I'm going to take that clone forge, and then we're going to replenish that offer with some survey cyborgs. It's another genetic card. I have 5 cards in my hand now, so I don't get to draw. And they are going to snatch the energy efficient adaptation. So we're going to remove that, and they get a trillion for taking that. We'll put them down there. They don't do anything once the competition's taken them. It just stops us from getting them. And they sacking offers 2 and 4 with bonuses for production. So there's none there. 2, 4. There's an edge card, market influence. The competition gains 2 trillion. Big driver. And another edge card, sabotage. Choose one of my teams at a site without a base, if any, and relocate it to a site with one of my bases. Both my teams are on sites with bases. So, so this would affect me if I was out here doing some exploring. I'd have to pull them back to a base, but that doesn't affect me, so that's quite good. Well, that can actually be handy for you sometimes, but I'd rather not have to forcefully move a team. Right, so back to me. Finally managed to fill the offers back up with all the edge cards. I'm going to play the Clone Forge, move my genetics cube round to there, and take one of these adaptations. So we can't take the one I really want, which is the radiation resistance, because I need another adaptation as a prerequisite. I like energy efficiency because it gives me build, which I always seem to struggle to. Never seem to struggle with moves and explorations, but the builds, I'm going to take that one. So that one now gives me a permanent build 3 as if it was in my infrastructure here. Unfortunately, just missed out on the $1 trillion bonus for pulling it first. And I've got 4 cards, so I draw one. Another big move, another big drive. So I think I'd like to aim for a 3rd asteroid base now. Maybe nick Pallas out from under this cube, this team here. Anyway, see what they're doing. Highest even site. So they're sending a cube out to the highest even site. And that's these little numbers here. 16, 13, blah, 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 blah. Oh, 21. 19, highest even site. That's got to be Callisto. So let's move to Pallas. Take this one, I think. So which team are we going to send? Let's move our team that's behind. Let's move them out. So that's 1, 2, 3 movement, which we can just pay using our reusable solid nuclear drive. And that's our move action. That's our action done. I've got 5 cards, so I don't draw. And they are sending a team to Pluto. Wow, it's quite a jump. Okay, so let's explore Pallas before they do, and then we can get a claim on whatever we find there. It's abundant ores. Has no immediate benefit, but it can produce and base their builds at a -1. And they are destroying offers 2, 3, and 4, and would be affected by genetics and revelations, of which there are none. Another edge, a poach. Choose and discard half the cards in my hand, rounding down. 1, 2. So I've got to get rid of 2 cards. Get rid of that move. And I think that one. Get rid of the 2 non-infra cards. So that goes. as well. Keep filling up. When I said looking for genetics and revelation, what I meant was, as I said in the first round, there's a symbol alongside where it says offers 2, 3, and 4. There's a Planeteers symbol, which means we consult this table for whether they win or whether they gain or lose money. If there was a symbol like we had previously with the little build icons or the research icons, they gain money if those cards get discarded. Okay, so they took offers 2, 3, and 4. We've refreshed, so it's my go now, and I'm going to want to build in Palace. So it's going to cost a 2-point build. We've got 4 here, so that's dead easy. And let's build. It's not really worth exploiting it. I think we're just going to stick. I wonder if maybe we should build a spaceport there because it has no gravity penalty. Just check. No, no gravity penalty. And we can use it as a jumping off point because if we've got a spaceport there, we can double the value of any move card played or anyone move in for a card if all the moving teams begin at a spaceport. So I'm going to build a spaceport there and then talk about something that we didn't use in the first era. Down here on your turn, after you've conducted your actions, claimed contracts, and so on, you can perform a free team transport, which means you can move a team from one base to another base as long as one of those bases is a spaceport. So once I've claimed my contract of 3 asteroid bases, 1, 2, 3, for $5 trillion, I can perform a free team transport. Now I could, which means I can move this team from here to here, or I can move this team from there to there. The advantage of leaving from Ceres here is that it's shielded, so any move actions that come out of here are shielded. The advantage of leaving from Palace is any move actions are doubled. Now I'm not really sure of move actions, so I'm going to take this free action and move that cube to there, that team to there, so we can take advantage of the shielded move out of this space as we branch out into the radioactive zone beyond the asteroid belt. So that was my go. That was building a base and then doing a free team transport. That is so hard to say. I get to draw a card. I've got an edge card here. Let's just see what that affords me. I can play at any time and the competition loses 2 trillion. I might just do that right now. The alternative is a build 4. And I've got build 4 just here. So I'm just going to do that now. 1, 2 trillion here. 2 trillion now is the same as 2 trillion later in the game. And I might have to discard that card and it's a free play. So I'm going to do that. And the competition is going out to Dione. Again, unsure the pronunciation. That's that. Sometimes when those turns are really quick like that, it makes me think I'm missing something, but it's fine. Right, so where should we go? Let's head out to Jupiter's moons. Look at these contracts now. Do we want to pick up that genetics card? I think so. Before it gets wasted as part of an offers action. So we got a 2-point research. So let's take that for 1. It's a big move there, but I'm not really up to I'm going to move into Jupiter's moons. Although maybe we should disregard Jupiter and go straight out into Saturn and then aim for this. There's 3 regions beyond Jupiter though. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There are only 4, so we need a cube in there, there, and there to get that one. That is quite expensive. Although then 2 beyond Uranus. If we go 1, 2, 3, we can get both of those in one go. Bases on 4 sites containing water or life. So we've only got 1 water base so far. So we took the genetics card and we'll draw from here because I've got plenty of move actions. We'll draw from there. It's a move 6 anyway, and it's an infrastructure upgrade. So that's a pretty nice upgrade. Let's replenish that. It's the other genetics card. I think we'll try and take that next turn as well. We've got 5 cards, so we don't get a draw. Lowest odd site. So they're sending a cube out to the lowest odd site, which would be Hygeia. Is mine. 3 is Pallas, then 5 Interamnia, which is not even a name that rings a bell. But I'm fairly sure I know how to pronounce it, so that's a bonus. Okay. We're going to take another research action. I'm going to take the micro splicers so I can play both these genetics cards in the same go and draw 1 from here. It would be nice if it was another genetics card, but it's not. Some survey drones. Replenish that and hope we don't get sabotaged or poached. No, not sabotaged. Discard all genetics. This is the nasty one. Hostile microbes as an edge card. We do not want to see that. IO. Right, there we go. Should have been quicker than that. 7 cards in hand. I can no longer research, but I'm just going to play these 2 genetics cards before I am forced to discard them. 1, 2. We are nearly on to getting the radiation resistance. And we don't get to draw. Lowest even site, sending a team out to Vesta. I think we can let them have Vesta. We need to set our sights on Saturn. There are no genetics cards, so let's go for Saturn. How many moves is it going to take? 1 to take off from Ceres, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 to land anywhere except Titan, which is going to be 6. So we've got enough infrastructure here to get to any of Saturn's moons apart from Titan. Titan has got the better explore, the E3. And it's got a higher build rating as well, but we're pretty well set for build now because of our first adaptation. And we've got 4 and nothing in hand, so we'd still need another card, whether we go for one of the build 5s or the build 6. So let's head for Titan. It's going to cost, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves. We've got 5 here. So let's do an upgrade first. We want to put the open gas nuclear core drive in for the reusable. Let's do that. Okay. A separate discard pile off there for the old Mariners cards. These are some Mariners cards that we bought with us from the first era. I'm going to do that instead of moving straight off to Saturn. We've got 4 cards in hand, so we draw. Huge fusion drive. Ceres or Pallas. Now we've got both of those sites. This cube should have gone when we built. 2 discoveries and contract 6. So 2 discoveries. What are the rules for discoveries? They've got lots of potential discovery sites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I assume it's going to be the best ones. If there are one or more explorable sites that are occupied by a competition team, draw and place a discovery tile at the one with the highest ID number. 2 discoveries, do it twice. Put the competition team on the tile and award any T bonus. So the highest ID. So we've got Callisto with 20, which is the highest on the board, I think. They're definitely going to do Callisto. So let's put an E3 on Callisto for them. Abundant ores and water. 1 trillion for that. Nice production base. It would have been nice to find that on Titan. Never mind. And the next highest, where are we? Io is 15. Dione is 11. Oh, Pluto 17. So they get an E2 out of Pluto. More water and 1 trillion. Finding lots of water. I'm not a lot surprised that there's water on Pluto, I don't suppose. And contract 6. So they're going to put a cube out here on contract 6. So that is one that we could win from them fairly easily. If they get 2 cubes there, they'll pick that. Non-start Planeteer card. So we need 2 more upgrades in order to take advantage of that. Now, is that something we want to go for early? Or do we want to move out to Titan? They haven't got a cube on Titan, so there's no rush to get out there. Just going to cost us 2 extra turns to do that. Let's upgrade survey drones. Let's get rid of this solid nuclear drive and upgrade survey drones. Got 4 cards, so I'll draw one. It's a genetics card. Excellent. As long as we're not forced to discard that, we can get our radiation resistant adaptation, which means we don't have to worry about radiation for the rest of the game then. Rhea. There we go. Saturn moon. And I'm just going to play the genome accelerator. Take that round to there and take this radiation resistant adaptation. I get 1 trillion for that, and I get 2 progress cards, so I get 3 trillion for that. 1, 2, 3. Got 4 cards in hand, so I draw one. Another quite a nice third upgrade maybe to replace the survey module. Right, so they are taking the energy efficiency adaptation, both of which have gone now. I've got one, they've already got one. And discarding offers 2 and 4, scoring money on global or edge cards. What that symbol means, it's not global, but anyway, 2 and 4 gone. No money from them. Another revelation card. We've already got one, analytic excavators. We could start maybe looking at a breakthrough as well. Energy fields might be a nice one. All that, or the probe network with a multiplier on the Explore. Let's go right now for this third upgrade, micro mesh, which gets us 3 non-start Planeteer cards in 3 infra slots and 2 trillion for that. 1, 2. So this is what I mean by sort of trying to take the where the competition leads, try and follow in there and steal it from underneath them. I don't know, it feels like the right thing to do anyway. So I've got 4 cards now. So I draw one. We picked up a deep space probe, which we didn't get a chance to play the space probe in the Mariners era. Place a discovery tile on an empty site and gain any immediate rewards. So that means we could put a discovery tile on Titan before we actually fly out there. And then when we fly out there, we can just go straight for the build. We've got build 6 in infrastructure now. So maybe I'll do that. Saves. Doesn't actually save the turn, does it? It's not like we're short of explore points. It's only an E3. Anyway, it's not my go. It's their go. Into Ramnia. Didn't they have one already out there? Yes, they did. So I just need to check in, same as it is in Mariners. Draw and place a discovery tile. It's an E1. They get 1 trillion for the water. Remove the team and place a base. So their first base of the game. Cup is now over here. It's a secure base, which they are placing into Ramnia, which I think does get them a bonus. If I have fewer secure bases in play than the competition, I lose 1 trillion, which I do. They've got 1 and I have none, so I lose 1 trillion. Okay, this is my hand. Let's move out to Titan then. I've forgotten how much I said it was, but I'm fairly confident we've got enough here. We don't have to worry about radiation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can do it with our open gas nuclear core drive or nuclear drive. Don't have to play a card from our hand. Hygeia or Enceladus. Here, I think we've already done, so they're sending a team out to Enceladus. I want to explore Titan. So that's an E3, 4 points of explore action there and there. So let's see what this tile is. It's quite nice. We've discovered extraterrestrial life, exomicrobes and exotic elements. We get 2 trillion for that. 1, 2. We get a genetics. It's got a P2, but it does mean the base is going to cost 8 to build. Now we've got 6 here. I don't have any in my hands, so we're going to need to build, draw a card at some point. Anyway. So bases on 4 sites containing water or life. So we've got 1 on water and 1 on life. So we're halfway to that one. Let's check they're not, but they're half. I've got a base there yet. We got 1 base out. This would be a nice one to get because it's worth 5 trillion at the moment. So they're taking the radiation resistant adaptation and removing offers 3 and 4, looking for research. So they get 1 trillion. That. And edge cards, no edge cards. Right, cool. There's no edge cards. So in order to build on Titan, we're going to need 8, and we've only got 6 in hand. So I need to either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to research or wait until we otherwise draw a card. Now I could send my other team out. If I spend over 10 move, I can spend cards from my hand. I wonder if I can probably just squander cards from my hand in order to get a draw. So should we send a team? Should we send the other team out to Uranus, out to one of the moons there? They're all pretty much the same. B2, B7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, and 10 to land. So we've got 10 here, but I might spend a move, throw a move card from my hand just so I get to draw a card and hopefully pull a build card. Seems a bit wasteful. Anyway, let's go. 10. Where should we go? Let's go to Ariel. No, let's go to Titania because it's higher. Got a higher ID number. Feels right. And I'm going to throw in the closed gas nuclear core drive as well, just for some extra movement. And then draw a card because I have 4 in my hand. It's not a build, but it is an intercept. And what can I do with an intercept? Play at the start of my turn to take another one straight away, so I can get 2 turns in a row. Ariel and Titania. So sending a team out to Ariel. So am I going to explore Titania? Titania, let's call the whole thing off. Or am I going to research and build, take a build card so we can definitely build on Titan? Let's explore Titania up here. So we've got an explore 2 here. Take it from this pile this time. Oh, nice. Some more microbes. So another $2 trillion and another genetics cube. And we just need those 2 bases. No, we need 4 bases on water or life. Now there's an exposed tile there. And there's a water tile there. So maybe if we steal those out, then we'll get $2 trillion for it, but it might be worth it. What are we looking to do? We did that explore. We didn't play the intercept, so we can't take another turn now. And we still didn't get a build. I have a feeling we're just going to have to research for that build card. Iapetus is right there. So they're filling up all the moons of Saturn. Don't think we're going to get 3. Oh, we could get 3 bases in one region, but it means we're going to have to concentrate on Uranus. I think chances of getting 3 bases on Saturn with their 4 cubes out there are slim now. Right. I'm going to research. I'm going to take 1 from here. It's not a build card that we need, so I'm going to take this 0G factory from there, replenish that. Still didn't play my edge card, so I don't take another turn. What's this one? Play at the end of any turn. For each base located on a discovery tile with life, its owner loses 1 trillion hostile microbes. Now, at least that's out, which means they're not going to get it in an offers action. But it does have the genetics that we would need to get low body mass or sensory focus, but I'm not that fussed about either of those adaptations. I mean, it's nice to have those cards, but they're not my main focus now that I've got radiation resistance. So that was the draw, the research action. Iapetus again. So they're going to explore out there. That goes back. They get 2 trillion and place a base. And it's a spaceport. It's a matching event because there's no gravity penalty. If they have at least 2 other bases, they would take the first beyond marker. They don't have 2 other bases, which is lucky. Do without losing that one. I do not want to be 3 turns down at the start of era 3. Right, so let's do our build on Titan. 7. Should have. This is an 8-point build. That's a 7-point build. So we're going to have to pull more build cards. I should have realised that and taken 2 build cards from the offers. Anyway, 6 and 7. Well, 10 actually. We're going to build on Titan. And I'm going to build a research station. Oh, can I build a research station? Yep, there are no requirements for a research station, which means I can take any card from the offers, and I'm going to take the nuclear mass driver. No, yes I am. Yes, I can do that, and that gets refilled. So now I have the build, sufficient build to do Titania as well. 2 discoveries and contract 6. I've already got contract 6, so they don't get that, and they get the 2 highest discoveries. What they got? Dione at 11, 7, 9. I think that's it. What's best? It's just 2. So I need 2 out there. Discard this card and draw an E3 tile. For them, he gets 2. $2 trillion for that. I paused there because I'm thinking that we can nip in here and maybe steal this and get the 4th base that we need for this. And also he's building in Dione for 11. It's an E2. Water with abundant ores, so another trillion from that, and another base that I might be able to poach from under them. Shall we do? Now my question, shall I do the build on Titania, or shall we sneak in and try and build either in the, let's try and sneak in and build in this Dione one. So that's only a 1, 2, 3 point movement, which we've got here. So let's do that. I'm just going to check how much money they get if we steal their discovery claim. Yep, that's 2 trillion if we steal. So if I build a base here on a site that they've claimed, they get 2 trillion, but I think that's worth it. Only a 4-point base build. There you go though. Enceladus. So they're going to explore out there and build a base too. Oh, lucky. So it gets 2 trillion from that, and it's a natural wonder with abundant ores. That'll be a spaceport. To research. What do they get for a research? If I have more profit than the competition, then the competition gains 1 trillion. So if I do this build now, it's going to put them equal with us on profit, but it's going to get me 1, 2, 3. It's going to be my 3rd base with water or alien or life. So then I can get that build. So we're doing this build here for 4. So they get 2 trillion because I've poached their claim. And if I'm going to build an exploiter there, which gets me this P2, but I can never produce on that tile now. So now we have 1, 2, 3 bases with water or life. We're 1 base away from this. There you go. And offers 1 and 2. Looking for build yellow. No, it's not. Produce actions. Neither of those. Good there. No edge cards. So let's go for the build into Tanya. So that's a 7-point build. We've got 6 here and a 3 in hand. So we're going to build. What we're going to build? I can build a biolab. Yes, let's do this. Right. So I'm going to build a biolab there because it has life and that advances my genetics counter by 1. Now, when my genetics counter's gone round, I can take one of these again. Now, do I want low body mass, which gives me a movement bonus, which might be going to be handy for the next round. The movements in the final era are really spread out. Or adaptation, sensory focus, which gives me a second choice when I pick an E3 or a primary, which are on the second era. On the third era, rather, choose one of those tasks to implement. Let's go for the move bonus and a trillion. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bases on site with water or life. So we've taken that contract, which gets us 5 trillion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the end of our go. Offers 2, 3, and 4. Looking at this key. So 2, 3, they lose a trillion because of that genetics card, and 4. Now, I have also got 3 bases beyond Jupiter. Oh no, it's bases in 3 regions beyond Jupiter. So we're going to need to go out here to Neptune or Pluto. Now, I forgot my plan to skip the Uranus region and go for base in Triton and a base in the Pluto region. The other option is to go for 3 bases in one region and try and build in Rhea before they do. Do it quite easily. We're getting pretty low on moves there, and I would like to get a team out into the Oort cloud, so that would be 6, 12, 18, 19. Nothing, no transit from the Uranus moon to the Oort cloud. So 19 move. We've got 10, 15. We can do that easily. I'm going to take that now. I'm going to put that one right out of their reach. 10, 15. I need a move 4 from my hand. I've got an 8 or a 6. Still play this edge card. Well, it's the start of our go. We could do that now. Although that might be better to do this so we can move and explore that, take that claim. Or even to move and then explore and build in 2 consecutive turns. Anyway, we're going to have to blow one of these move 8s then to get this team out to the Oort cloud. 1, 7, 13, 19, and we've played 23. So we're good. We'll take that one. We've got 5 cards in hand, so we don't get to draw. Now that team is now out of the game, so I'm running on 1 team now. Maybe we should have stopped off in Charon to build there, but it's a build 12. Hefty, isn't it? Triton. Okay, team out to Triton. I'll go. I'm going to come in here, nick this, and try and get the 3 bases in 1 region contract. So I'm going to play this now, my edge card. At the beginning of my turn, take 2 turns in a row. So the first one, we've got a move of 1, 2, land there, and then explore 2. So it is a natural wonder. I get 3 trillion for discovering it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because if I don't get this one and they get that base, then they'll pick that up. And now he's heading for this 2 bases beyond Uranus, but we can't have all of them, so that's good. We now have a claim on Rhea. We haven't built there yet. We've got a claim on it. I've got 4 cards in hand, so I draw one, which is a revelation. So I want to play a 2-point revelation next go. Get around to maybe picking one of these breakthroughs up, or having the 2 revelation in place for the 3rd era. Nano miners. Oh, right, yeah, we're looking at this. Hygeia or Vesta. Those are long. Oh, no, Vesta's still there. Look at that. So he gets an E1 tile on there. And he gets to build a base. There's no money for that. Exploiter. What happens if he plays the Exploiter? Gain T equal to its discovery tiles P number. Right. No, that's ours. What does he do with an Exploiter? He just gets the 2 trillion. So 1, 2. The P2 there. Does not fulfill a contract. So now we want to build on Rhea. So we've got 6 points for build actions. It's only a build 5, so we can just do that. Now, if we place a research station, we can take one of these cards. We can't place our exploiter. There's no life forms. Or we could place an attraction there, which gives the tile a P2 bonus. And then maybe finish off with some productions to well, we've got a couple of P2s. Use on 4 of them, I guess. Let's put an attraction there. Don't get to draw. Tramnia or Ceres, they're both done, so we'll draw another one. Vesta is gone. Europa. Okay, first time anyone's got a team out to Europa. I've got 3 bases in 1 region. I get that. 1, 2, 3. One more contract, and this era is over. I don't think I'm going to fulfill any of those. But they could. So what are we looking to do now? We need to get either 2 bases beyond Uranus or 3 bases in regions beyond Jupiter. Either way, I'm going to have to build here and here. Well, no, I could build 2 in there for this one, this contract. Am I going to spend these productions on revelations? These cards on revelations or big produce? If we produce 4, what can we get? We've got a 2 there, a 2 there, a 2 there, a 2 here, and a 2 there. So we can get 8 trillion from one turn. It's pretty hefty, and a draw. I like it better than the productions. Better than the revelations right now. I'm going to do that. I'm going to produce on 4 sites. So 1. Well, no, that's exploited. It doesn't matter. We've got a 2, 2 there. That becomes a 2 because of the refinery, and this is a 2, so that's 8 trillion. So 1, 6, 7, 8. We're on 52. Did we give them the 2 trillion when we stole this site out from under them? I don't think I did. And we're on 3 cards, so I get to draw 1. And they're playing out to Europa, doubled up in 2 turns, so that's an E3. So he gets 2 trillion for that. And Cube comes home, and he gets to place a research station. And when he places a research station, if I have more profit than the competition, they gain 1 trillion. Yep. Right. Now, got a lot of move here. We can move, should we go for Triton? So, an additional transit from Saturn's moon to Triton is going to be +6, so 1 to take off. 4, next 5, 11, 12 to land, +6 is 18. We've got 10, 15. We can play that one for 18. We're moving these guys out to Triton. Get to draw. And they're playing in Charon. Up there. We're going to explore Triton for an Explore 2. More water. $2 trillion and genetics 1. That puts the base cost up to 12 on Triton there. So we've got 6 there. I've got 5 in hand. Is 11. I'm 1 short of the base build for Triton, which is annoying. IO. Had IO already. There it is. So that means they're placing an E2 and a base. No T bonus for that, and a biolab. Biolab do the competition. Oh, if the discovery tile has alien life, they gain 2 trillion, which they don't. So I'm short the 1 build I need to build on Triton. So I can research. We might as well go for one of these or both of them if I can. So I'm going to need to research to pick up a build. So we're going to take that one and this one, which is another big move. We'll replenish that. Competition turn. Rhea. That's gone. Pluto means they're going to build a base on Pluto, I think. The competition team is present with a discovery tile. Remove the team and place a base. I'm not so worried about this now. I have the first beyond shield factory. Competition gains 1 trillion unless I have the radiation resistant adaptation, which I do, so they get nothing for that. Now, 12-point base build. I've got 3, 6, 11, 14. I'm going to build out here, and not that one, mine. I don't know what to build here. I don't really want a research. I don't really want to pull more cards now. Use my exploiter. So put biolab there and get another genetics because of the alien life. And that's cool. And that is 2 bases. Yeah, it's not 2 bases beyond Uranus. It's 1 base beyond Uranus, and it's not 3 bases beyond. Or is it 3 bases? 3 bases in 3 regions beyond Jupiter. 1, 2, 3. We've got that one. So that's 3 trillion. 1, 2, 3. We did that in slightly the wrong order because I think that ends the era. 6 of the 7 contracts for the era were being fulfilled. Do I take an extra turn in solo? The era ends immediately, so that's it. Era ends. So there's a couple of things we need to do again. There is a competition bonus production. They gain X trillion where that's their best base discovery pair. So there's a P2 there. They haven't got a P2 with a refinery, which would get them 3, so that's 2 trillion for that. And I can choose one discovery tile that has a P value and put it down here to replace this P2. And P2 is the best I've got up there, so I'm going to keep that one. And now I'm going to keep going into the final era. I'm going to I get to keep these 3 cards. I get to keep my progress cards. Yep, progress cards. And all this other stuff comes back. I keep this genetics on 2. Keep this tile here. So I'm going to set up for era 3, the Starfarers era. Okay, so welcome back. We're all set up for Starfarers era now. As you can see, we've got a bunch more adaptations over here. We've got a bunch more breakthroughs for the Starfarers era, and we have these here, which are colonies. And as we go through the game, once we've explored and built a base, as we've done in the previous 2 eras, we can build a colony. And colonies are worth more credits, trillions of credits, or dollars, or whatever they are. And and you also get an end of game award depending on how many colonies you've built. So this era is quite a lot about building the colonies. In order to consolidate your monetary lead. So I've got still got the adaptations from last round. I've still got my my exotic elements, my refinery, refining the exotic elements down here. I was first beyond, so I've got that token, although that's effectively removed from the game at this point. We have, instead of E1, 2, and 3 cards, we have these primary and secondary discoveries. And we also have these alien discoveries. Some of the sites that we explore, we may turn up alien technology. And there's a bunch of different effects. They're not just alien technology, but actual aliens, and they have an effect on the game. As you can see, the board here is slightly different. We're starting out here, which represents the solar system, with Sol, our sun, in the center. As you can see, the distances to travel are now much further, and we don't count gravity to take off and land because it's practically negligible. This is all about exploring the star systems now. And we start with 2 teams in Sol, and because we were first beyond, we have a team in Alpha Centauri, which is a multi-star system. And the opposition, the competition, have a star in Lumen 16. Not a star. They have a team in Lumen 16 over there. If I hadn't had First Beyond, then there would be 2 competition teams out here, and I'd only have 3 teams in Sol. I still have a team in reserve here that can come out later in the game. Now, when we travel to one of these sites, first off, we're not allowed to stop in one of these blank zones. We have to move right through it. So to get here, for example, we can't do a 30 and then a 20 move trip. We have to do a 50 move trip. And when we arrive, we don't even arrive at the star straight away. We kind of have to taxi to the star. So we start on this 3 square row as it leads up to the star, and at the start of each subsequent turn of mine, we move 1 space closer to the star until we're actually on the star, and then we can do the explore action. The explores are 10s, 7s, and 4s, and the builds are around 6 or 8. When you explore for E10, say, you explore all the sites within that system, and immediately gain any benefits that are on there. Or in terms of some of the aliens, sometimes there can be some costs involved, or some disadvantages, shall we say. Instead of the beyond areas, we have these Orion Spur points. To move to those, you can see they're very high numbers, move numbers, hundreds, 120. You also have to have a colony in the adjacent system in order to migrate to the Orion Spur. And the first team to do so gets 5 trillion. Second team to do so gets 2 trillion. I think that a team can go to the same part of the spur as someone else has already been to, but they'll only get, all subsequent teams only get $2 trillion credits, whatever they are. Also in this era, we have this concept of nearby. And if I think it's the shielded areas. There are some of these bases you build that can affect nearby systems, and that is within 20 moves. So that counts as nearby, but the 30s are not nearby. The adaptations that are added this round, we've got the ones that we have from last round. We've also got Enviro Tolerance, which is worth 1 colony point. That's to help you build a colony. I'll talk about building colonies probably when we do it. We have Hybrids Adaptation, which whenever you build a base on a primary tile, you can choose to place a second different type of base and get the cumulative effect of both of those. That's quite a nice one. And Star Children, which has prerequisite of 2 breakthroughs. We have none so far. You can immediately gain a new team. So you're basically just spawning a new team straight on a star in a region that does not have any other teams. So you can just bang, stick a team out there in Gliese 1 or whatever. Breakthrough, we have an entangled transmitter, which allows you to skip, immediately transfer one of your teams from Sol or at a star system to any empty star system, placing it directly on the star. So you're effectively taking someone from here and just putting them straight on the star. And once you've got the entangled transmitter, you can get the jump drive, which gives you a permanent ×4 move down here to multiply all your move actions by. We have matter shifting, which immediately advances your genetics marker and your revelation marker 2 spaces each. So maybe aim for that one first to give us a boost to get some of the others. And infra transfer, at the end of your actions, you can automatically upgrade 1 eligible card you played from your hand. You may automatically upgrade 1 eligible card you played from your hand. So that means if you've played, I don't have any, this is my starter hand, but if you've played, say this was in my hand and I've played it as part of the instant requirements for a move, say, then I can take that and put it into my infrastructure up here. It's quite a nice one to have early on in the game to turn over some of these, because again we've got the Starfarers contracts, and again one of those contracts is non-start Starfarer cards in 3 infra slots. So if we can get some of these ones that aren't marked as starter cards, dark grey, or with start there in the bottom right hand corner, you can get a contract there. The other contracts quickly. First, colony. So first build a colony. Colonies with at least 15 value. The value is these pips in the top, and that relates to the cost of the colony as well. The colony points. You need to be able to muster enough colony points to match the number of pips on the top. The cheap ones down here. 3 pips have no effect. All the others have various effects that are described next to them. If you're wondering why there's some blanks here, it's because they're not used in the solo game, only in the multiplayer game. So colonies with at least 15 value gets you 4 trillion. Bases in 3 non-adjacent regions, obvious enough, gets you 3 trillion. Bases in 3 multi-star regions. There aren't a lot of multi-star regions. There is only Epsilon Indi, Lumen 16, Alpha Centauri, and 61 Cygni. All the others are single star systems. So there are only 4 multi-star systems, multi-star regions. So you have to build in 3 of those. 6 progress cards, so we're halfway there. That's these cards, adaptations and breakthroughs. 2 non-starter Starfarer cards, we already talked about. 3 non-start Starfarer cards in 3 infra slots, we talked about that one. And bases in 5 regions. So hopefully you'll pick up a few of those. As before, any 6 of those gone, that's the end of the game. If we exhaust this deck, which is my deck, or this deck, which is the competition deck, then that is game over also. So what we'll be aiming to do, I would like to build at least a couple of colonies. So I can get the monetary 2 colonies is worth 4 trillion. At least even just 1 colony is worth, well, a net gain of 2 trillion, because if you don't get any colonies, you lose 1 trillion. And the competition obviously get those 2 because they build colonies. And if they build them, you can't build them because there's only 1. Apart from these 2, I guess they're domed cities or whatever. Apart from those 2 colonies, they're all singles. So Enviro Tolerance is a good one to get one because it gives you colony points. And okay, let's talk about the colonize action. With no cards to play, you don't play build cards or anything. You just count up how many colony points. You've got to have a base in an area to do so. So you get colony points equal to listed on all the discovery tiles. So some of these discovery tiles have colony points listed on them. So it might be 1 or 2, probably not much more. 1 colony point if you have a nearby colony. We talked about nearby. So if you have a colony here, you get an extra, you get a point towards that one, say. If there is an industrial base in the region, so save our industrial bases for areas where we're definitely going to try and build colonies. And if there are 2 or more bases in the region, so try not to go for colonies in these singles, so Lacale or Lacale or LaSalle or whatever that was, 9352, Lumen 16, try maybe not to get colonies in those. So if we get an industrial base and say a biolab in one area, that's already 2 colony points towards building our colony. You can remove one of your teams in that region from play for an additional colony point. I guess they become settlers. If you accumulate 8+ build value via play of action cards or infra, well, we've already got 6 permanently, so that's always quite a nice, easy one to get. A colony point if you spend 5 trillion. You want to kind of avoid spending too much money to get those. And again, if you've got the Enviro Tolerance adaptation card. So some of these are worth 6. There's a few 6s there, and a couple of 5s. 3 6s, 4 6s, a couple of 5s, some 4s, and these cheap 3 ones. So you have to work quite hard to get enough to build the 6 ones, but obviously, just like the other buildings and stuff, the competition here just take them. So based on, they match this number. So if they're building a Captain Star, they'll get number 13 or the closest one, which would probably be this one, number 9 there. Anyway, we'll see that when it happens. So we've got 2 teams in Sol, 1 team in Alpha Centauri. The competition go first. So let's hit that card, see what they do. Tau Ceti. And it's got the number to tell us where it is, but that doesn't help. It's up there. Tau Ceti. So we're going to take a team and put it up there in Tau Ceti. That means it's Argo. I think we'll probably just explore in Alpha Centauri here. We've got an Explorer 4. See what the primary gives us. We're already there, so we don't need to travel slowly towards the star. Although, having said that, because of that travel movement, maybe we ought to send maybe we ought to do a move first, and then while they're slowly moving in towards the star, we can do the Explorer over here. In which case, our closest is actually Alpha Centauri, but we've already got a team there. Closest is Lumen 16, which is 30. So let's see if we can muster a move of 30. Well, we can't. We've got 10, 20. We could move another team to Alpha Centauri. There's not a lot of point unless you want to move teams out through into Wolf 1061. Looking at the board, the balance of the board, I think this is the better quarter to go for. There's a multi-star system and lots of adjoining systems, lots of nearby systems for building colonies. So if we can get into here, it's quite nice to move up towards that Orion spur. Second best, I think, is probably maybe this one that has 4 systems, 4 regions, and this one that has 3. I'll probably avoid Groombridge and 61 Cygni completely, because these are low explore numbers. They're going to be fairly easy also for the competition to move in and start exploring and building there. We'll see how that works as it comes up. We'll follow through the chart. So I'd like to move out here, but again, we're going to need 50 to get out here, or 60. We haven't even got 30 to get into Lumen 16. So let's maybe we should research then and take this first gen antimatter drive, which gives us a move times 3 as a one-off, which will give us enough. What did I say? We had 20. That will give us 60, and we can get into Epsilon Indy. So, okay, first turn. Let's research. We'll take that. We definitely want that one. And we don't need to worry about shielded because we have the radiation resistant adaptation. So all our actions, both our moves and builds, are automatically shielded. I'm going to take the top card from here as my second card for the research, and that's a fusion booster, same as that one there, which I was tempted to take anyway. So let's fill in the offers. It's another first gen antimatter drive. And we have 4 cards, so we draw one. Still the same rules as before through there. So we have 5 cards now. Again, the first 12 of these are going to be start cards, and we've got 5 in our hands, 4 there, 9. So there are 3 left on top there before we start getting into the slightly better cards. Let's see what competition's doing, wrecking all our offers and removing research. The offers action key is opposite this time, so they get -1 if we see a star in this icon here. We see a star there, then this comes into count, and they get -1 trillion if they trash a revelation card, and +1 if they trash genetics. This icon is the research icon, so they would get +1 if they're trashing any research, but they're not. And now we are going to be seeing the first of the non-start cards there, and we know these are all non-start cards for the rest of the draw. Okay, there were no edge cards came out, so we get no negative effects from those. We can now play our 10. Oh, so we've got 10, 20, and we play that move times 3 for 60. And we can send our team through this space here into Epsilon Indy, and they hit the first of those there. And I must remember to move those up, something I sometimes forget. This is going to be a nice area to explore. We're going to need Explorer 10. We've got 6, 8, 10, as long as we don't lose any of these cards. We've got enough to do that explore when we get there. We get to draw a card because I only have 3. Oh, nice big ×5 move multiplier. Opposition, competition are trashing all offers, and there's the little star icon that shows you that this box will come into play. They would get -1 for a revelation, +1 for a genetics, but there are none. So we're trashing all those. Here's some genetics cards. So start of our go, that moves down to there, and I might pick up those genetics cards, definitely one of them, because that will push us round. And we can take our first of the Starfarer's adaptation cards, so maybe we'll take the hybrids or the envirotolerance. So I'm going to take research. I'm going to take the genome accelerator. The question is, do I want the other one? We're going to leave that there. Yeah, let's take both of those. Yep, and fill up the offers board. There's a big build there, a build 5 that you can upgrade as Infra. It's mega structures, looks like a halo or something. There we go, Groombridge 34. So they're sending a team out to Groombridge 34, which is down there. Straight onto the star. And my go, I'm going to spend these 2 genetics cards to go round 1, 2, and I think I'm going to take... it's a bit early to think about building colonies, but we will be building some bases, so I think we're going to take this hybrids adaptation, which gives us 1 trillion. First to take that adaptation. We've got 4 cards, so we'll take one. And did we move the... See, I said this would happen. Didn't move that on my go. Right. Now competition. Wolf 1061. 1061, there we go. So you can see in this, they expand really quickly in this era and spend, although I'll say that, they spend less time trashing our offers and more time expanding quickly. And they quickly start building colonies as well. Okay, our counter is now in Epsilon Indy. So for an Explore 10, we can explore that in Epsilon Indy, which is a primary and 2 secondaries. Maybe too late now. I was going to say maybe we should have taken the sensory focus. That's kind of the one I was thinking of, which allows you to take 2 primary tiles and pick one. It's too late. Not going back on that, just because I thought of it. So let's explore Epsilon Indy. I need an Explorer of 10. I've got 4 on the board, and I'm going to use... Oh no, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that move times 5. I'm going to spend that and that for an additional 7 so we can explore this. So let's take a primary tile. Abundant life. Okay, so we've seen tiles like this before. 1 trillion and a genetics move as well. So that's cool. The secondary tiles, an asteroid field with a production value of 2, and oceans. So again, genetics 1. Well, genetics has gone all the way around again. I'm just going to take the genetics card, then we're going to come back to these. This time I'm going to take that adaptation sensory focus and get 1 trillion for that. So next time we draw a primary tile, we can pick 2 and pick the one we like the look of. Coming back to these discoveries that we just made. The oceans and the abundant life have col 1. So these are the types of tiles that contribute towards colony points. CP equal to that listed on all discovery tiles in the region. So to build a colony here, we've already got a start of 2. If I build next turn or in the future, if I build an industrial base, then if I build an industrial base there, then there will be, and also we'll build on the other ones too, then there will be more than 2 bases and an industrial base. So we'll get 4 points towards colonies in there. So we're probably looking to build a colony in that multi-star system. Because it's a really good booster to build colonies there. So that was our exploration go. And I get to draw a card because I've only got 3 in hand. Another move multiplier. So that's good. So we got 15 times 3 is 45 times 5 is 225. So we've got masses of moves now. I think I just did that right. I'll work it out again if we need to. All offers and earning when they honour produce. Well, there's no production ones here, so again, I said they didn't trash our offers, and there they go trashing our offers. So we refill those and explore forward. Genetics 2. I'd rather get, oh, there's an edge card. I would rather be getting the other cubes for the breakthroughs now, although the Enviro Tolerance cube's good. Right, I need to look up what this edge card does to us. Market influence. The competition gains 2 trillion. That's not too bad. That's better than having to discard a handful of nice cards. So that also gets dumped and we refill that. Some advanced extruders, advanced fusion drive, DNA synthesis, and a star scanner. Right, so like I said, we've got a lot of move here. We don't really need a lot of move to get into Glia 81 or into Lacaille 9352. But what I'd like to do is leave these guys here because obviously we want to build. We need a build of 20, so we've got 3, 6, we've got 9. But we can leave that team there while we move one of the others maybe, and while we collect a few build cards. So we've got move of 15 here on the board. Where would we like to send our final soul team? We could send them into Lumen 16 to try and explore that before the yellow team there, and move up into maybe captains. Or we could send them out into Epsilon Eridani, which is another big one with three exploration sites. So that's 50 points to get out there, 50 move action, 50 move points. We've got 15 here. If we use a 5 times multiplier, that's more than enough. If we use a 3 times multiplier, it's not enough. So I think we'll just use this one. So 15 times 5 is 75, which is more than enough to get out to Epsilon Eridani and put us on that first step towards the star. We have 3 cards in hand, so draw another Another big move multiplier. And they're going to explore Tau Ceti. They've already got a cube on Tau Ceti. So let's look slightly different in the Starfarers era. We've got a little, it's not presented as a flow chart, but it works like a flow chart. So assess the following in order and then stop assessing once an activity is performed. So if I have a base there, discard the card and end of the turn. I don't have a base there. If the competition has a colony there, no. If no competition team is present, place one there. That's what we did last time. If the competition has a team and a base, it places a colony. No. If competition has a team but no base and all the explore boxes contain discovery tiles, nope. If the competition has a team present but no base and all the explore boxes contain discovery tiles, no. If the competition has a team present and one or more explore boxes are empty, yes. And the site's explore cost is 7 or 10, yes, it places discovery tiles. So that's where we're going to stop. And they will place out a planetary system and some planetesimals. Not entirely interesting for them. They don't get any money out of it. I think, is this our hand? Yeah, this is our hand. So not a bad round for us. That moves into there. I think what we're going to do this round is explore Alpha Centauri at last. We've got explore 4 on the board. That's an E4. So now we can take 2 primary tiles, decide which one we like the look of. So let's take one from each stack. I don't have to spend anything. So alien culture contact, discard this tile and draw an alien tile. Now there are some bad ones in there. There are phobes. And if a phobes tile is revealed, the active player must relocate one of his teams in the region back to Sol unless they own energy fields, which we don't. Energy fields is an early breakthrough. No benefits are received from any discovery tiles in the region until a secure base is built on the phobes tile. And there are also introvs, where bases can't be built in the region unless the active player owns the cooperative empathy or sensory focus adaptation card. Now, as both sensory focus is the one we do have. So there's a 1 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chance of getting a tile we can't deal with at the moment. If we take the habitable discovery, we get 2 trillion, a genetics bump and a colony. But aliens is more fun, right? We'll put that one back there. Try and remember that's the one we know about. Let's take an alien discovery tile. Introvs, which is cool because we can build bases because we have sensory focus. Building bases here isn't a priority, but anyway, so we get $2 trillion. 1, 2. We get a genetics. And we get Rev 1, which is, I can't remember what the wording is. It's the dark one. Not Revelations, is it? Can't remember what it's called. Never mind. We get one anyway. So that's good because we want to start picking up the breakthroughs. It's worth P2, so it's worth production value of 2 and 1 towards colony. And base cost building is in 0 and it's in red because unless you've got sensory focus you can't build there, but we can if we want to. Next go. So we have 4 cards, so we draw one. 4 extruders. So Epsilon Eridani, that's over here. They've beaten us there. They don't do anything yet. If they get another one there, that's going to be trouble. We moved that down there. I can't remember if I've moved them. Told you I'd forget. So while we're waiting for this team to arrive in Epsilon Eridani, we can either build here for 20, we can build here for 8. We've got quite a lot of build cards here. So what have we got in total? 3, 6, 9, 12, 17. Still not enough to build in Epsilon Indy. We could research, pick this one up, and maybe the DNA synthesis. Although for the next genetics card, I'd actually like the Star Children, which means we need 2 breakthroughs. So I'm not really in a rush to pick up genetics cards because I'll probably be forced to discard them because of edge cards. Let's have a quick look. Let's remind ourselves what bases in Starfarers do, because some of the bases are slightly different. If we build a biolab here, we can advance our genetics. Again, I'm not that interested right now. Exploiter, we could take the P2 as an immediate profit and render that site effectively useless. Industrial is worth 1 colony point. If I build a colony there, it's already colony 1. I'm not mad about building a colony here. I don't think I'm going to be building colonies until I get the enviro tolerance anyway. Research, I can take 1 marker space, 1 card from the offers, or advance your revelation marker 1 space in Starfarers. So maybe I should build a research station. I think that would be good, actually. Let's build a research station down here. So we're going to research the introvs. And that gives us 1 move on the progress wheel. And we didn't draw a build card, and we don't draw now. But next time we can explore, our priority is going to be to explore Epsilon Eridani before they do. So it's contract 6. So they're taking a token and putting it on contract 6. Non-start Starfarer cards in 3 Emperor slots. We've not done any Starfarer upgrades yet. Because these are quite, I feel these are quite powerful at the moment, so we haven't done any. So we might let them get that contract. Obviously, the really valuable one would be to get 3 bases in 3 multi-star regions. We would get 7 for that. We've got a base there in 1 multi-star region. There's another multi-star region. Maybe we should look to get to Lumen, because we've sent 1 team up here where there aren't any more multi-star regions. Where was the 4th one? Ah, Cygni down here. Anyway, what were we doing? They've built on contract 6, so it's our go now. We're in Epsilon Eridani, and I want to explore that. So 2, 4, 7. I didn't think that through. We've only got 7 explore. So let's take a research action now. We've only got 5 cards, so we're allowed to do that. Let's take the build 3, which gives us enough to build in Epsilon Indy, and take the explore 4, which gives us enough to explore in Epsilon Eridani. It's going to be unfortunate now if they explore there, but there we go. Right, so they're taking the IT breakthrough, which is infra transfer. I like that one. There you go. So they're removing that and getting 2 trillion for it, and removing all offers, which we didn't even fill up. And they get paid on research, so they're going to get 1 trillion for this research card they're trashing. You can see there's a lot more genetics cards in this era. There doesn't seem to be so many revelations cards though. Okay, no nasty edge cards to hit us. Right, so priority for me is still to explore Epsilon Eridani. 4. I don't want to wipe. See, I could play this as an upgrade, but I don't want to wipe any of these out. So I'm going to use this as like an instant. So 2, 4, 8. Actually, these should be in front of us until the end of our go. 8, 11. So that's enough to explore Epsilon Eridani. So we draw 2 primaries. This was the water. Do we want that water as a safe option? It wasn't bad. It had production too. Right, let's take this one that we don't know what it is. It's another alien one. Now, if we get sent back from there, it's quite a hefty move to get back out there again. But it wouldn't be that awful because it's not a multi-star system. We could then go to Lumen or out to 61 Cygni. I'm going to take this alien contract card. Alien contact. It's the phobes. It's the hostile phobes. The active player, that's me, relocates one of the teams in the regions back to Sol. So I'm going to research, send those back to there. I don't know if we put the secondary discoveries out. Don't know if we do that. And I don't know if it's in this book either. Okay, see if we can find that out. So yes, we continue placing the secondary discovery tiles. Oh no, don't worry. So that would have been quite nice. We could have got $5 trillion from that lot, but we didn't. So if we want to go back there and actually get those benefits, we need to build the secure site on the phobes tile. Unless they own energy fields. No, we don't own energy fields. That was that one. Which means this one is all your bases are considered secure. Don't have that. I think we're probably going to lose Epsilon Eridani now. But instead, we'll take the opportunity to move down and get Sigma Cygni or maybe over to Lumen 16. This will probably be safer because they haven't got a team over there yet. And then we can aim for this contract here. Anyway, that's the end of our go. Rather anticlimactic. Glaze 1. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. This is spelled different. That says Gliaci and that says Glaisi. This one's, I think, is the correct spelling. I don't know about the pronunciation. That's probably not correct at all. But that's what it is. I said before, I'm not going to stop and look up every single name as we go along. And I'll never remember them anyway if I look them up in advance. Right, Argo. Let's move this team that got relocated by the phobes. We're going to send them down to 61 Cygni, I think. Or shall we go for Lumen 60? What do we think? More moves to get out here, more cards spent, but less risk. If we come out to here and then they draw again. Also, this has got 2 sites. Let's go for this one. So a move of 60. We've got 15 here. So we need that 4 times multiplier. That's all we need to get down there. So that's 60 and we're on that star track there. We've got 4 cards in hand, so we draw one. Right. Wolf 1061. I think they've already played out there. Where's Wolf 1061? Right, so that's an E7 site with a team already on it. Just place discovery tiles. So, well, we know what this one is, so we can give them that one, which is the abundant water, I think. Habitable. Give them 2 trillion, never mind. And this secondary. more planetesimals. So that's that go. Back to us. That moves down onto there. Have we got enough to build an Epsilon India? I think we made sure we did. Those are long gone. So 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh no, we must have spent a build doing something else. We still can't build an Epsilon Indy. We could take the Stellar Foundry and upgrade a micromesh. Start to upgrade some of these sites whilst we migrate towards 61 Cygni. Have we got anything in hand that's a good upgrade, better than we've got here? Here's a move times 3. So this one gives us, yeah, this is better, even though it's, let's do this upgrade as infra for our turn. Because effectively, instead of 15 on the board, we've now got 27 on the board. So that's a clear upgrade, and it's one step towards this contract here. We've got 4 cards in hand, so we can draw. Oh, it's a revelation one. That's good. That can give us our first breakthrough next turn, unless we're forced to discard it. Okay, so competition turn. Wolf 1061. Again, that's exactly the same as last time. So now this time, they have a team. They have a team, but no base, and all the explore boxes contain discovery tiles, and the exploration cost is 7. So it places bases, then it places a colony, earning base bonuses if anything matches. Okay, so first up is an industrial base. Should have said I was going to put that on the top one. So industrial, the site has a water. So place a competition team at an unoccupied site in the same region or a nearby region in Starfarers. So there are no nearby regions, so that's not possible. So they earn 1 trillion instead. And the second base on the planetesimals is a spaceport. The spaceport is neither on anomaly and start again. The spaceport is on a discovery tile that is neither an anomaly nor dust. So if the competition has a colony in a region that is adjacent to an Orion spur containing no teams, place a competition team at that Orion spur and award the competition accordingly. So they're taking that one for 5 trillion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll flip that over. They're now on 51. I think we're now locked out of that one. I'm going to check this. I think we're locked out of that one. So, and we can only go to that one or that one for 2 trillion each. Yeah, you can only enter unoccupied Orion spur spaces. So now we can only go to that one or that one. So now I think they're going to place a colony as well. Exploration is 7 or 10. If it had a team present and one or more explore, no. Where did we get to? All the boxes contain discovery tiles and the site's explore cost is 4 or 7. Then it places bases, then it places a colony. And it places colony number 4 because, or closest it can because of that 4 there. It's out of focus, but believe me, there's a 4 there. So colony number 4. I think that's how we choose the colonies, and because 4 isn't there, we go to 3. Now, If colony is not available, choose the colony with the ID number closest in value. So we're looking, so we're on 4, so we've got a 3 or 5, and I think if there's 2 equally close, you go with the lowest number. So they're going to place number 3, which is Cohen, and they're going to place a colony there. Now they immediately get, they ignore any benefits to the colony, but I think they immediately get the 4 trillion for the colony pips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which we don't get. So their first colony. So they take that and get 3 trillion for that. 1, 2, 3. They're gaining on us. We need to start. I reckon we need to start building some bases. We nearly got 6 progress cards. So yes, we're looking for bases in multi-star regions, aren't we? Of course. So at the start of our go, we slip that down to there. I think I might have missed one of those, but we still haven't got the 20 build required to build in Epsilon Indy. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12. But we are going to take this revelation, which will give us a draw anyway. So we'll play that 1 point revelation round to there. So we can take one of these now. Now the entangled transmitter would allow us to move our team immediately onto Cygni. But we're going to do that at the start of our next turn anyway. But it is the prerequisite for the jump drive, which gives us a massive 4 times multiplier. The matter shifting is quite nice because it will move our genetics round and also move our revelation round too. But that's really the wrong order. I'd like to get the revelations round and get a second breakthrough and then go for Star Children, which gives us a new team on the board. And the other thing we might want is the infra transfer at the end of your up. There, that was the one. Whenever we play an upgrade as an instant card, we can then use it to upgrade freely at the end of turn. So I think I'm going to take that one. Which now means that we have 6 progress cards. So we take this one. 4 trillion. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 cards in hand. So we draw. We didn't play an upgrade card this turn. But we do pick up a nice big build, which gives us 3, 6, 9, 12. Gives us 16 now. Still not quite enough to build on Epsilon Indy. So maybe we're going to have to pick up Stellar Foundry or this Mega Structures with an eye for our infra transfer. We forgot this. Hybrids. When we built our base there, we could have built an extra one. Never mind. Okay, competition. Groombridge 1618. Where's Groombridge 1618? There. They've already got, there's the other Groombridge 34 out there. So they're in there now as well. Our go, that moves down onto there. We still don't have the build, but we can explore 61 Cygni. It's a 7-point explore and we've got 8 here. So we can look at 2 primary tiles and decide which one we want. There's an anomaly which gives us 2 trillion and 1 revelation, or abundant life which gives us 1 trillion and 1 genetics. The anomaly means that bases become more expensive to build. It's going to mean that the base there is 18 to build instead of 14. Oh no, I've just noticed we've got one there as well. We're going to need 24 builds to build a base in there. With that in mind, I think we're going to take the anomaly for that one. We'll put the abundant life back on that side. That gives us 2 trillion and 1 revelation. But it does mean bases are going to be more expensive to build this. We're making a bit of a rod for our own back there. But we're going to start, I think we're going to try and start building up some of these builds. We're going to upgrade some build infrastructure. And we've got to do the secondary. That's what I'm reaching for. Secondary, just rings. Okay, but it does have a production value, but rings, great. Like there aren't enough rings in our own solar system that we get excited about rings in 61 Cygni. So that was our go. How many cards do we have in our hand? 4, so we get to draw. Wouldn't have minded another build there. We didn't play an upgrade card. We don't need to start watching these cards that I'm playing for upgrades. Groombridge 34, so they're out now in Groombridge. They've got a second team in Groombridge, which means a competition has a team present, no base, no discovery tiles. So we're going down to this last one. One or more explore boxes are empty. The site's explore cost is 4. It places discovery tiles, then it places bases, then it places a colony. It's doing the whole lot in one go. Let's give them that one was 1 trillion. Let's pick this one. Never mind. It's a rich asteroid belt, so they get 1 trillion. Oh, it's got a P3 on it as well. Minded that one. And then it builds a base. A shield factory. A shield factory, if the discovery has water, it doesn't have water, so they get no bonus for that. And then they build a colony, and they're going to build colony 2, which is this one, which gives them another 4 trillion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Game's a bit closer than any games I've played before. That's quite interesting. Going to keep counting these build cards. So we need 18 to build there or 24 up there. So 6, 10, 16. Still not enough. And we can't play these for the other action. If this was like a, say the move and say this was like this one, we could play it for the explore and then get the build upgrade down there for free. I think we're going to have to research and just take the mega structures and the Stellar Foundry, 2 big upgradable build cards. So we're just going to take both of those, fill out the offers. Don't seem to be short of explores particularly, but these builds are getting a bit of a stretch. So we now have 7 cards in hand, so we can't research next go. Let's see what they do. They're going to take the jump drive and all offers. So, oh, do they need the prerequisite? Okay, so they can only take the jump drive if they've already taken the prerequisite of the entangled transmitter, which they haven't done. So they missed that, but they remove all offers and they gain 1 trillion for the genetics that they're discarding. Now we've got those 2 big build cards from the offers. There's a revelation. And another revelation. We've got too many cards to take those with a research, so we're going to have to spend some. Okay, so we want to build in 61 Cygni. We also want to build in Epsilon Indy. It doesn't really matter which we go for first. What we're going to do, I think, is try and get some upgrades in here, though we have to be careful that we don't wipe out anything too important. So we've got 6 build in hand. We're going to need, I think if we go for 61 Cygni first, which is an 18, so we've got 6 in hand. All our builds are upgrades, so one of them, after spending, we can put into the infra. So obviously the mega structure is going to be a good one. Although if we do that one, we can also get keep the explore. So 3, 6, 10. 18, 5 and 3. Shame to discard the mega structures, but anyway. So we're building bases here. Whenever we build a base on a primary tile, which is there, we can build 2 bases. So we can build 3 bases down here. That's not from the cup. We're building from our here. So on an anomaly, we can build an attraction on the anomaly, and that site gets a P2. So let's build an attraction for starters. If we build a research, we can take one of those revelation cards from the offers. Although really we want both, which would probably be a research action. Although, why not then build? Well, we can, instead of taking, for a research action, we can actually advance the revelation marker. So if we built 2 research stations, not sure if we can build 1 research station there and 1 research station there. I'm going to have to check that. Oh, I think we're allowed to do that. I think I'm allowed to build a research station there and a research station there and advance my revelation marker twice. So we've got a few things we need to do. We can take one of the breakthroughs. So now let's take this breakthrough, which allows us to immediately advance your genetics marker and your revelation space 2 spaces each. So genetics 2, revelation 2. We now have 2 breakthroughs, so we can take the Star Children adaptation because the genetics cube just went all the way around. And that means we can immediately gain a new team, our last team, and place it on a star in any region without a team. Now, if assuming we want to go out to the Orion Spurt, it's not such a big deal for 2 trillion profit. So let's bung it straight down in Locale 8760. Or Captain Star. This one's got cheaper build costs. Let's go for Captain Star. So we're putting a team out there. We mustn't forget about them because it's a cheap explore. So quite a lot happening. We've built some bases. We can use one of these cards to upgrade our infra and the others get discarded. So I'm going to upgrade that one. This comes back to our hand. Mustn't forget that. Those 2 go into the discard. I've got 5 cards in hand. Right, what can we muster build-wise next time? 4, 7, 10, 17. So we're still some way off the Epsilon Indy, but there's 9 points of build out there. Maybe we'll do a research action next go. Apart from the Enviro Tolerance, I think we're about done up on breakthroughs and stuff. I'm not mad on picking up many more. Priority now is going for bases. Just going to double check that neither of us or the competition have filled any of these up now. So they've got 2 colonies totaling 8, so they don't get that one. Bases in 3 non-adjacent regions. We've still both only got 2 regions. Bases in 3 multi-star regions. That's what we're going for with that one. Non-start Starfarer cards in 3 infra slots. We got 2 now, and we're probably on our way to getting a 3rd. And bases in 5 regions. Not yet. Competition turn. Contract 6. They're taking contract 6 out from underneath us. So they're taking that one. We can no longer get the 3 infrastructure one. So that's 2 trillion more for them for that. Now, we've still got quite a few turns left, but we're quite close on money, and I do wonder if we want to pick up a few produce cards just to produce a bit. We've got 2 there, a 2 there, and that's a 2 as well, I think. So we could, if we can get produce 3s, then we can get 6 a turn. Anyway, let's explore out in Captain Star. We need an explore 7. We've got 5 here on the board. There's a 7. That's an upgrade. That's the one we moved off last time. I don't really want to use it to replace any of these, so we're just going to put that straight out there. We can take 2 primary tiles, I think. Yeah, abundant life or an exotic asteroid belt. So this one gives us a colony point, it gives us a genetics and 1 trillion. This one gives us 1 revelation. So if we pick the exotic asteroid belt, we will take another breakthrough. Maybe, I think we'll take the asteroid belt anyway. Put the abundant life back on that left-hand one. So that's 2 trillion. Revelation 1, we're going to take a breakthrough in a minute. Base is going to be only +4, it's still only 12 there. So we're going to take a secondary tile. It's Alien Ruins, which is another 2 trillion. And Revelations, another one, and base +4, making that now 16-point build there. So I get to take another breakthrough as well. We have no teams waiting in the transfer. So although the entangled transmitter leads to the jump drive, not that bothered. We could take the quantum mechanics, which would give us 3 when we draw. This one gives us explores. I'm not worried about explores. This will allow us to build where the phobes are, which will give us 5 trillion, but we have to get there. Although that's 40, 60 point. Let's take the quantum mechanics so we can research better. We can research more cards. So that's 2 trillion for the quantum mechanics. And I think that's it. We could have upgraded that, but we don't want to because it's actually pretty much a downgrade on any of these, and it doesn't help us with our build. And we get to draw a card because we're only 4 in hand. Another revelation. What are they doing? They're going to take the Star Children adaptation, the other one, and all offers. Do they have 2 breakthroughs? He removed no breakthroughs last time, and he's only got 1 at the moment, so he can't take the Star Children. They can't take the Star Children, but they are going to scrap all offers and lose 2 and gain 1 trillion. So they net loss of $1 trillion on that. It's all the offers. There's an edge, a leak. What does leak do to us? We can either lose $2 trillion or return 1 of our progress cards. Now, are there any of these progress cards that aren't that exciting? To be honest, this one is not going to do us any more use, and if we win it again, we can do it again. So I'm just going to return that to the sideboard. So that edge card goes. Remember, we're looking for builds. Okay, that wasn't too painful. It's back to us. So we've got a 16-point build out here, or a 28-point build there. If we use, what do we have here? 4, 7, 10. We can use both of those build on Captain Star and put this out as an upgrade for next go, which will give us 13 on the board. It's just not enough. 4, 7, 10, 17, 21. I think we're just going to have to research until we've got enough build cards. Right, so we can research this turn, see if we can pull enough build cards out of the box, out of the deck to get this Epsilon Indy build. So 7, 10, we got 17, so we're 11 short. So we'll take the matter manipulators. We can draw 3 cards because we've got the quantum mechanics. 2, 3. So now, what's our builds now? So that's 10, 15, 19, 22, 26. We fill that. Still not enough to build. I know it's only 24 to build an Epsilon Indy, not 28. So we do have enough now to build an Epsilon Indy next turn if we're not forced to discard anything. Talsetti. So I assume they're going to build out there. Places bases and then places a colony. So on the planetary systems, it's placing a secure. Secure has no requisites and requirements, and if we have fewer secure bases in play, which we no doubt do have fewer, we lose 1 trillion. And on the planetesimals, a biolab. A biolab, there is no life on the planetesimals, so they gain nothing for that. And then they get a colony, and they go colony 4, which doesn't exist, so we're going to put 5 out there for them. Not that one, it's that one, Talsetti. So they get 5 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they've got 3 colonies. Oh, there's it. That isn't one. That isn't a contract. But they do have bases in 3 no, that's not. 3 non-adjacent regions. That's the one they have. So they get 1, 2, 3 trillion. And they're now equal with us. Their colonies total 4, 8, 13. So that was the colonies one. They don't get that yet. Bases in 5 regions? No. Okay, I'll go. We're going to build in Epsilon Indy, which will be our 3rd multi-star build. So 7, 10, 15, 19, 22, 26. Need 24, so we 26. Now we need to spend all of those. Right. So on the primary, we can build 2 If we should, I think we should build a industrial site there for sure, which will give us a colony point. Now that's max once per region, so there's no point building more industrial sites. None of those sites yet. That site has life, so we could build a biolab there and advance our genetics marker. We could build a shield factory there, but we don't really need shield factories. We can build a spaceport, which gives us a move boost or allows team transport, which we haven't really taken much advantage of. We don't have any research spaces. Well, we can exploit the asteroid field, so let's build the exploiter out on the asteroid field, give us 2 trillion. But we still need another one out here on the life tile and one in the ocean. So let's build secures. Let's build a secure there and a secure there, and then we're equal to them for secure bases. No, we've got more secure bases than them. We need to save 1 secure base to build on Phobes, maybe. Okay, so we've done our building. We now have got bases on 3 multi-star regions, Alpha Centauri, 61 Cygni, and Epsilon Indi. So we take this, which gets us 7 trillion. We can take one of these upgrade cards and put it into our tableau, into our infrastructure. But now we're there. What builds have we got left? 4, 7, 10. We got none left in our hand. We're going to need 12 to build in Captain Star. So let's take the antimatter booster out and put the matter manipulators in. Discard that one. We've got 4 cards in hand, so we get to draw. There's a nice big build. So we can afford to build Captain Star. And competition go. Did we get anything else there? One more contract and that's the end of the game. So maybe we should concentrate on building that colony out in Epsilon Indi instead. Bases in 5 regions. We have bases in 3, a potential in a 4th. But I think we're going to get, I think the competition are going to go for 15-point colonies if we're not careful. And they might do it right now. Epsilon Indi, that's ours. I think that means they lose that turn. If you have a base there, discard the card and end the turn. Yes, so that's nice. In previous eras, we've discarded that card and hadn't drawn another one. In this era, they lose that turn. So, what sort of colony can we build over here? We've got an industrial, which gives us +1. The tiles themselves give us 2, 3. We don't have a nearby colony. Industrial base we counted. There are 2 or more bases, so that's 4. We could remove that team quite happily for 5. We can accumulate a build of 8 for 6. We don't have the envirotolerance adaptation card. So if we remove this team from the game, and we'll put them there, we can build a 6-point colony. Some of the 6-point colonies. Whenever an opponent or the competition colonizes, gain 1 trillion. Whenever you colonize, including this one, gain 1 trillion equal to the number of colonies you control. That's a nice cumulative one, but I think we're reaching the end game now. Whenever an opponent or the competition fulfills a contract, gain 2 trillion. Again, at the end of the era, claim any one unfulfilled contract. That's a 5.1. But this one, gain 1 trillion for every adaptation and breakthrough you own. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trillion for building that. I'm going to go straight for that one. and earn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trillion. I don't think I've ever received that many trillion in one go in this game. So we don't get anything else for that, do we? Colony benefits. We do get a colony point if we try and colonise in the Cayley 9352 or Gliese 1, but we no longer have a team in that area, so I don't think that's actually going to happen. Competition then. So, Captain Star. What happens? We don't have a base there. They don't have a colony there. If no competition team is present, place one there. So they simply put a competition team there. So really, we want to get on and build in Captain Star before they do, I think. It's a 12-point build, and we can afford that 4, 8, 14 right there on the board. We don't need to spend cards, but do we want to? Not particularly. So we're going to build there. The primary, we can get 2. Industrial, be nice. Industrial has a P value, so we can build an industrial there if we're going to think about getting a colony out there. Let's build an industrial on there. Secure doesn't give us any points because there's no adjacent colonies nearby. There's no nearby bases for the opponents. SpaceCorp gives us a move. Maybe we can move out. We need a colony first, but we can move out into the Orion Spur. Biolab, we have no space out there. Alien Ruins, though, we could put an attraction out there on the Alien Ruins. And is 8, 16 to build there. And what did we just spend? 4, 8, 14. I do need to spend some build from my hand. We do need to spend that. One final base out there. Let's put a spaceport there, because it means we can beam another team in or beam them out at some point. It's neither anomaly nor dust. Neither anomaly nor dust, that's fine. So we now have bases in 4 areas, 1 more region, and we crack this final contract there. Anyway, that's now in the discards. We've got 4 cards in hand, so we draw 1. Exactly the same card that we just played. I think these guys get sent home when that happens. Yeah, because there's no point in them being out there anymore. Captain Star immediately discarded, and their turn is over because we just built bases. That was good timing. So now we could build a pretty cheap colony out here. We don't get any colony bonuses, or we can produce for a good lot of profit. We can produce in 4 sites. So these are P2s. This is that industrial. Yeah, so this is a P2. This is a P2 because of the attraction. And this is a P2. And that's a P2. And this is a P2. And that's also a P2. So we could play those 2 cards for 8. Yeah, we've got 4 production sites, each of which produces 2. So we could play those 2 just for $8 trillion straight off. How many of these have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I research, pick up those 2, I could get 12 trillion, which vastly outperforms getting more colonies. But how close are they to actually? I think if he gets another team out to Lumen 16, I think then that will end the game. Yeah. So if we don't do something right now, if say we take a research action and they send another team out to Lumen 16, that ends the game right there, because they will get a colony and they will crack the colonies with 15 points. I think it's going to be worth the risk to do that. So I'm going to do a research action. I'm going to take this first. So I've got 3 research because of the quantum mechanics. Take that one, which is another one, and that one, and that one, because we have 7. 2, 3, 5, 7, and we've got 1, 2. I know I've counted these so many times. Sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can produce on each of those for 2 points. Give me 14 trillion now, as long as they don't end the game right now. Locale 9352. Where is Locale 9352? Everything's getting a bit covered up with cubes. It's over here, no one's done anything, so they're going to send a purple team into there. It's another site which can immediately end the game if they build there again. So let's produce 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 sites. None of them are upgrades. So that's 14 trillion, taking us up to 54. So we've now got 104 points. And we get to draw a card. Okay. See where they're going. Epsilon Eridani. It's this one up here. I think this is the end of the game then. It's a competition, has a team but no base, and all the explore boxes contain discovery tiles, and the site's explore cost is 10. It places bases. They ignore the phobes tile. And if they draw the phobes tile, they discard it. So I'm going to assume they are allowed to build there. Yep, so it says here, base placement limitations imposed by introvs and phobes do not affect the competition. So this is as we said, it has a team present but no base. All explore boxes contain discovery tiles and the site's explore cost is 10. It places bases, so they're not going to place a colony there. Right, so still not over. First one on the icy asteroid field is a secure site. When they place a secure site, if I have fewer secure bases in play, I lose $1 trillion. They have 1, 2, and I have, sure, I've got 1, 2, so I don't have fewer, so I don't lose any money. Next one on the exotic life is an exploiter. If they place the exploiter, the competition gains X trillion, where X is equal to the tile's production value, which is 0. Oh yeah, the discovery tile has a P, which it doesn't. And on the phobes, it's an attraction. Come and visit the phobic aliens. Nice. So no, there's no ruins there. They get nothing for that one either. And it doesn't finish the game. Back to us then. We only have 4 cards. We didn't fill in these research. In the offers board, I think that was ours, not theirs. Yeah, it was. They didn't do an offers action for a long time. What does divert do if we use it? Play when the competition places an attraction, refinery, or exploiter, and the company forfeits any profit. I don't care about that edge card. So, are we going to go for a cheap colony in Captain Star or 61 Cygni? Or even Alpha Centauri, where we get a Colony 1 bonus. So we got 1 point for that. If we build an Alpha Centauri, we're off to a start, although we're not because we lose on. I think all things equal, one of these sites are the same. 1 if you have a nearby colony, which there isn't. An industrial base. So if we build here now, or yeah, this is now the favorite. That's a 1 because there are 2 or more bases. So 2, we can remove the team. The 3, we can accumulate 8 plus build value for 4. I don't really want to spend any money. So we can get a 3 or a 4. 3 if we leave the team there and maybe go off to the Orion Spur. So for a 3, we can have one of these little ones, Jensen or Butterfield, which does nothing overall. For 4, we can have this one, gain 1 trillion for every 2 competing colonies in play. Now, how many competing colonies are in play? There are 3, so we get 1 trillion for that. I don't know if that's immediate or at the end, yeah, at the end of the turn. At the end of the game. I think it's probably immediate. So we can send that team away and take this one, which gives us 1 trillion now. Or we can leave the team there and take this one, which gives us no special benefit, but leaves us a team here to go off to the Orion Spur for 2 trillion. What's our odds of getting out there? So we've got 10 on the times 2. So 10 times 6. So we've got 60 move. So we're halfway to sending that team out to the Orion Spur. We just need another 2 times multiplier. Let's build Butterfield Station, a Butterfield colony out there. Butterfield named after the game's designer, of course. So that's 1 colony point for the industrial station, 1 colony point because there's 2 or more bases in the region, and we accumulate 8 plus build value. Right. I started considering something else there, but I'm just going to leave it. We get to draw a card. We've only got 4 in hand. There's the extra 2-point multiplier we need for the move. They're going to take the Star Children. They still don't have 2 breakthroughs, so they're still not going to take Star Children. They are going to take all offers, and that's a break even, so no monetary change on that. There's another edge, that's a sabotage. Choose one of your teams at a site without a base, if any, and relocate it to a site with a base. We don't have any teams on site without bases. That's just a discard. And there's another one, intercept the competition takes another turn after this one. Don't like that. There we go. Competition takes another turn. Epsilon Eridani. A turn. That is going to be game over then. That is going to be a colony build. Must be. If it has a team and a base present, it places a colony. Right, so it places colony 4, which is not there. The next closest one, we've got a 1 there, which is on a -3. We've got a 7, which is on a +3. I think it takes that one, which is 4 points. Lower number if tied. Right, so they get 4 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they get colonies with at least 15 values. They get another 4 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that, I think, is game over. I don't think we get an extra turn because it's 6 contracts. It's not completion of cards. Bit of a shame. It would have been nice to send that team out to the Orion Spur just as a final farewell. But there we go. So, end of game profit according to the table on the right. How many I got? 1, 2 colonies, so I get 4 trillion for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure whether the competition score that. No, never the competition. The competition never gains additional properties. After the profit for colonies, if your total exceeds the competitions by 11 or more, I win and dominate explored space. So I clearly won that one. And that's all there is to the end game scoring on that. So I've thrashed them. I think every time I've played in practice for this video, I've beaten them. And when I played about a year ago, well, that's been about 6 months ago, I beat them as well. And it seems fairly easy. I know it got pretty close in the middle there, but there always seems to be this acceleration towards the end of each era where we pull away from them again. They get easy at the start of the era because they place without resources, without the cards, and then we do well towards the end of the era once we've got some better infrastructure and better cards drawn. So I think there is a module to make it more tricky, which I've never used. Optional era situations. Increase variety and challenge by adding era situations. So maybe that's something I want to do. Shuffle the era situation cards and blindly draw one. And they do things like they have fuel shortage or random mutations. And it also changes this action key. So maybe that's something to consider to make the game a little bit more challenging. It's fun. I really like playing it. I like the challenge of playing against the competition, but they don't. They slow down towards the end of each era as we accelerate towards the end of each era, and it always seems to win by a healthy margin. But it is good fun trying to just. It's something to play again as you play the puzzle that is your cards and your deck and how to move your teams around. I didn't think I was going to do as well as I have done previously, but I ended up with a really good score. It might be my best score, 108 there. But they've got healthy 81, so not bad. I think it's the first time I've never been first to the Orion Spur. But it's also the first game where we've finished on contracts. Normally, every game I've played has finished on decking. And to be honest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're only 5 cards from the end of our deck anyway. They still had a healthy amount to go. Never seem to, well, I say I never seem to produce much, but that turn, that was 14 trillion produce. So that was pretty good. And an $8 trillion contract, colony, which was pretty good as well. Which I think accounts for most of these points here at the end. Where are we? 27 ahead. And what did I just say? 8 and 14. So yeah, 22 points of that 27 is from those two actions. That colony and the 7-point produce, which gave us 14 trillion. Anyway, it's a really good fun. It's like I said, it's a bit of a puzzle working out which cards you want to draw, use to upgrade. Can you afford to delay that one turn while you do an upgrade instead of just playing the card into your discard pile? Do you want to go for genetics and revelations to pick these up, or do you want to just concentrate on moves and explores? What we didn't have this turn was a whole lot of crawling down these paths to the stars, because we got a simple jump out into that one. I think we only had to come down into, we started there, so we only had to crawl down to 2 of them. And if you forget to move and you're not sure whether you moved or not, that becomes a bit of a pain. But and of course, with the competition just racing straight in front of you sometimes, can be a little frustrating. But they steered mostly clear of us this time. You might get to the point where you learn the frequency of the cards that come up here and which regions are going to be the best ones to go for, but not at that stage yet. Anyway, maybe I'll do a future replay with some era situations. If there are some good era situations that you think offer a good challenge, then why not state in the comments which one would be a good one to try? That'd be cool. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I enjoyed doing it. If you've got any comments, please leave them either on Board Game Geek or on the YouTube comments. Please remember to like and subscribe on YouTube and to give thumbs up on YouTube and Board Game Geek. And you can follow me at Man and His Meeple on Twitter, or my private account, my personal account, which is at Andy Beta on Twitter. Although Man and His Meeple is a bit more board game oriented, obviously. If you've got suggestions for other solo games you'd like to see me play, then ping me on Twitter or leave comments on YouTube or Board Game Geek under these videos. That'd be great. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Cheers. Bye.